Hello everyone, welcome to Leeds and welcome on this Sunday afternoon to an American football clash in the BUCS competition. Today we're up for Leeds Beckett against the University of Nottingham, and there you can see Jason arriving, Jason Scott, with the rest of his University of Nottingham team ahead of this fixture, and also first year head coach on the Becket camp, Joe Walker. Joe Walker, who is coaching the Leeds Beckett side, as I said, for the first year in this competition. And well, sport is the focus of many people's attention this time of year, of all disciplines and levels, and it's no different here in BUCS American football, with a few thousand students participating every single year and all roads leading to a big grand final at BUCS Big Wednesday. And one person who's also equally excited about this fixture today is none other than Simon Stockwell. Simon, thank you very much for joining me on what is quite a morbid day for the weather, but it's not a morbid day by any means for the actual occasion. First of all, give us a background on your American football experience.
So I've been playing American football for better part of 10 years now, recently retired. I've taken up the commentary actually, and 8 years with the University of Nottingham. So this is a clash close to my heart. I've played Leeds Beckett many a times. I know both these teams really well. This is shaping up to be an excellent game today.
It's a fixture close to your heart. Let's talk a bit more about that, because there is a bit of a rivalry between the two teams. I mean, Joe himself basically said that these are two of the top three collegiate programs outside of North America. And, you know, it really says all you need to know about this fixture, surely.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. University of Nottingham making the final for the past 2 years. People would expect them to be having a good run at the final again this year. But Leeds Beckett, again, a really strong team. You would expect them to be putting their way through for the semi-final and making their way, looking for that BUCS Big Wednesday in Loughborough.
Now, Beckett, let's focus on them very quickly before we hear from the coach, Joe Walker. They've had an interesting season, for sure, because they've had to play a lot of people out of position. And what can we expect from them in today's game in particular?
It's going to be interesting. I think the most important bit will be to see what the quarterback situation is here for Leeds Beckett. We're expecting Dawson Downing, the former Missouri running back, to walk out at quarterback, but we may see Henry Rowland, the tight end, come and take in some quarterback snaps. He has been doing over the past few games. So it's going to come down to that, whether they roll with Downing, and he led them through in the first half of the season, or whether they go to Rowland and say, go on, lead us forward.
Now, on Downing, actually, he's had 7 games already this season at quarterback. Does a running quarterback kind of suit this weather? Surely you don't want to throw a football in this. I can't even throw my hair into the right position, Simon.
Yeah, definitely a running quarterback in this weather. I mean, look at it. You can see the wind blowing, the trees are moving. You don't want to be throwing deep passes here. You're going to be either short passes to the flat or drop back and just let the quarterback do it with his legs.
Well, there's only one man who knows how this is really going to go from a Leeds Beckett position, and that is Joe Walker himself. I was able to catch up with him earlier just before the warm-ups. Joe, very nice to see you here up in Leeds. Talk to me about today's fixture. It's quite a heated rivalry between you two guys, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say this is possibly one of the biggest rivalries in British American football. Even at BUCS level, it's one of the best games every year. It's 2 top 3 teams going at each other for the second time in a season, and it's a great opportunity for us to test ourselves against some of the best competition in the country.
With how big the occasion is today, what's the mood been like in camp ahead of this week? Do you treat it like any other normal game day?
Yeah, I think it's been positive. I think our guys still feel like they've got their feet in their own hands a little bit. That if we can overcome an 11-point deficit today, then we've got every opportunity to win the North and be the number 1 seed. And staying at home is a massive advantage at this level. So I think our guys have been positive all week. They've been upbeat, they've been high energy, and they've been enjoying the practice. They're also enjoying the process of getting ready for the competition. I think that's something that we try to pride ourselves on.
Now, I know you've got home field advantage, but no one can get quite used to this sort of windy weather. Will it affect your gameplay at all today, or not phasing you at all?
No, for us it'll be absolutely fine. I think we've played in this all year. It's drier than 80% of the games that we've played this year. So for us, it'll be, if it stays like this, it'll be nice and dry. We'll be able to move the ball effectively through the air and on the ground, and we'll enjoy ourselves. And
just finally then, before I let you get back to the warm-ups, where's this game going to be won? We spoke earlier in the week about penalties. Is that still a big focus of yours?
Yeah, absolutely. We need to be mistake-free in this sort of game. When you get to this level of American football, being mistake-free is one of the most important things that you can be to win football games. And we're going to try and avoid penalties on offence and defence. We're going to try and put ourselves in the best position to be successful and avoid making any mistakes on the field, but try and encourage Nottingham to make as many mistakes as they can.
Well, let's get you back to that warm-up now ahead of the match. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Always fantastic to catch up with Joe Walker. Fantastic character, really. And let's just quickly talk. One point that you mentioned in that interview, penalty count. Penalty flags coming out in this game. That might be a bit of a deciding factor. Can you elaborate a bit more for us? Do you follow the same sort of thought process?
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially with a 6-man crew here today, you don't want to be taking any flags, particularly in the weather. We're looking at, if you lose 10 yards on a holding call, 15 yards for a personal foul, you're moving back nearly a quarter of this field already. It's going to be a big uphill struggle then to get going through to get yourself another first down afterwards.
Now we're going to move on to the University of Nottingham, but we've got to be quite careful because they are literally metres behind us, and you've got a bus journey home with them, so we've got to be careful about what we say, otherwise that won't be fun for you. Nottingham's season has been very good. Obviously, both these teams' seasons have been good because essentially whoever wins this match might possibly be in contention for that #1 spot in the North Seed of the competition.
Yeah, agreed. Nottingham 6-0 coming into this game. You would think if they go 7-0, they have one game left against Loughborough, they would be the favourites to take the #1 seed. And then they've got the home advantage all the way through up to BUCS Big Wednesday if they make it that far. It's a big advantage not having to travel down possibly to Bristol in the semi-final to go take on one of SGS Pride or the UWE Bullets.
Now, you've been part of this Nottingham team before, and you've obviously been able to know Jason Scott previously as well. He is a stalwart, really, of British-American football. What's he like as a coach to work with?
Oh, he's a great coach to work with. He comes out, he tries to make every player better, not just as a player, but as a person as well. He really tries to foster character growth and development. But then you'll see him, he'll come out on the field, and he is one of the most aggressive coaches I've seen. I've seen multiple onside kicks to start a game just because he feels like it.
Now, if you were running that Becket defence, just before we hear from Jason himself, if you were running that Becket defence, what are you most worried about in this game?
I think you're worried about Finlay Old, the tight end. He is an electric tight end. He gives big Gronkowski vibes.
Hang on, are you saying that because he's only over there, or
well,
trying to get on his good side, are you?
Yeah, let's get on his good side. I was sat up next to him on the coach on the way up, so I said I'd be nice to him. But big Gronkowski vibes, big blocker, big physical receiver over the middle of the field. It's very difficult to defend.
Well, without further ado, let's hear from the head coach himself, Jason, who had this to say when I caught up with him earlier. Jason, first off, welcome to Leeds. Give me your initial thoughts and feelings on today's fixture.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's an opportunity for our guys to compete. And that's all we really want to do as a university team is compete every week. We had 2 really good practices this week, and hopefully it'll show off in performance. We had 1 or 2 injury concerns, but it's a case of next man up for us, and we're ready to go.
Now, talk to me about the extra layer to this fixture. There's a bit of a rivalry between yourselves and Becket. For anyone who's watching this for the first time, give us a bit of an insight to the history and therefore the intensity that this game's going to have.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the old Division 1 days where Becket pipped University of Nottingham in the playoffs in 2018. And then ever since then, it's been a circled fixture on the diary. Thankfully, we've got the better of them. Last two seasons have been 1-1, but it's certainly back and forth. They've got some really good coaches, really good players. They'll have prepared for this. Everyone raises the game against University of Nottingham. You know, we're a 4-time conference champion over the last 5 years, so everyone raises the game for us. So there's no easy games as far as we're concerned, and we're just looking to give it our best shot today.
Now, this isn't exactly the sunshine of the West Coast up in Leeds. You've got a bit of a windy day and a bit of a cloudy day as well. How will that affect your play today?
It's grim up north, isn't it? No, fine. No, we're just still going to drive the ball. We're still going to play. Nothing really changes for us. We've got a game plan. We're going to stick to it regardless of the weather. Wind, snow, rain, sun. We're just going to play football.
Now, you say that your game plan won't change, but does that 80-yard pitch length come into effect at all with that?
Maybe a little bit in the kicking game. Special teams are really going to play a huge role in today's game in terms of punting and kicking. It's something that we really take pride in excelling at. I think we've got the kickers to do it, and hopefully we've got some tricks up the sleeve.
Well, thank you very much, Jason. We'll let you get back to your duties.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome to BUCS Big Wednesday, powered by New Balance.
It's the final play, and look at the celebrations, look at how much it means to Northumbria.
And that is full time here, and Nottingham reigns supreme.
And he will take it in for the second Loughborough touchdown.
White will head for the corner, but he won't need to get there. The referee blows the full-time whistle.
All roads lead to Loughborough and that BUCS Big Wednesday clash that both these sides want to be a part of. And there you can see Leeds Beckett on this near side touchline to us. They are ready, they are raring to go, and home field advantage is everything in this sort of fixture. So thank goodness they've got it from their perspective. And a man who's probably wondering whether the University of Nottingham can take the fight to them, Simon Stockwell, you've joined me in commentary. How excited are you now that you are looking at these images and everyone is in battle mode?
This is going to be, I think, one of the best games in the Premier North this year. University of Nottingham, Leeds Beckett University are being a heated rivalry. We've talked about that during the pre-show. I think this is going to be a game for the ages, I think.
Well, we can see the captains of either side are ready to walk out into the middle for the coin toss. And just before we get the coin toss underway, it's a good idea to introduce you to the officiating team. So our referee today is David Hewitt, assisted by the umpire Stuart Young, head linesman Ben Griffiths, line judge John Roberts, back judge Ian Rogers, and centre judge Liam Wotton. So a big thank you to those gents for giving up their Sunday afternoons, and a big thank you for everyone joining us on your Sunday afternoons, wherever you might be tuning in from around the world for this fixture. Hello and welcome. This is BUCS American football, and as we mentioned in the build-up, these are two of the top collegiate sides outside of North America, and here we are walking up to the middle for the coin toss now. And we'll take a listen in whilst this takes place, because this is really something where no one else should be talking except for them, Simon. But I'll come to you after so you can explain it for everyone at home what's just happened. We're having a bit of trouble with the referee, Mike. He's not turned it on, Simon, so we'll talk over the top of this.
So it looks like University of Nottingham have won the toss and elected to defer. I presume Leeds Beckett will say they want to receive the ball to open the game. Looks like University of Nottingham are looking to defend the left-hand touchback on your screen. Let's just wait for the referee to confirm. Yes, University won the toss and have elected to defer. They will kick off the game to Leeds Beckett University.
Now, that's a very different kickoff procedure or coin toss procedure to other sports that we might see up and down BUCS competitions. Talk to me why they would have elected to defer.
So, American football is quite difficult in the sense that you get to choose what you want to do at the start of the half. You can elect to receive if you win the coin toss. You can also elect to kick, but that means the other team can then choose to elect to receive the second half kickoff. So you'd kick off to start both halves, which is obviously not an optimal situation. So the option is there to defer your option to the second half, where everybody will then choose to receive the kickoff.
Well, you can see there at the bottom of your screen as well, Joe Walker, headset on, game mode, game face on. He's ready to go, already barking out the orders. He's also a fantastic character in British American football, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He's been around the game for a long time. He's now leading Leeds Beckett in his first year here at the university. He's done a really good job, 5-1 coming into this game. The only loss being that 30-20 loss to the University of Nottingham back in November. The return fixture here, I think we're expecting roughly a similar scoreline in terms of magnitude of score.
Well, we've seen these fixtures more often than not decided on who has home field advantage. So will it be a case of the same today? We'll have to wait and find out. But here we go. We are ready to get started here in the north, ready at West Park Rugby Club for some BUCS American football action. Strap yourself in, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a thriller. We've got Danilo Szlahetko Blackburn. He's going to be kicking off for the University of Nottingham. A master student in financial technology, and he's got a bit of GB experience as well. And Jason mentioned in the build-up already, Simon, how important those kickers are going to be today. So the fact that he's got a GB international on his side, well, that's certainly going to help everything out, isn't it?
It definitely is. And look how windy it is. We've got a player out to hold the ball. It's so windy, the ball keeps falling over.
Well, you can see the officials' trousers flapping around in the wind as well. That's got to be a clear indicator as well now, and I feel like our commentary position might take off. But I tell you what is taking off, the beginning of this game, because we are now underway here in Leeds.
Oh my God! Nottingham recover. Nottingham will recover the opening kickoff, and it looks like they will start with possession. The Beckett player didn't fall on it. He called for a fair catch, and then he never took it. And it is.
What is going on here? Leeds Beckett with an absolute mare in terms of communication.
That is a blunder to open the game here from Beckett. Joe Walker will be wondering what on earth is going on. All of the defence for the University of Nottingham will be ready. The offence was not, and now the offence has to come out on the field.
Well, we won't take another look at that because Nottingham want to get straight to the action, and they want to get Spencer Burkill on the ball. The quarterback already set in position. He's barked out the orders. So here we go, first down. First of the game. Where's it going? It's handed off nicely to Lala. He's run around that outside wall. It's very good play there from the running back. Nice little gain there for Nottingham.
Yeah, Lala's a really elusive running back. Once he's in space, he can make multiple people miss. Looks like a gain of 7 to open there for the University of Nottingham. If Becket can't stop the running game early, I think Becket are going to be struggling.
Becket have got to get into the zone, and they've got to get into the zone very, very quickly, because Nottingham are a side that will start on the front foot and come flying out the gates, as we've already seen. Burkill handed off once again to Lala, but this time he's snuffled up by the Becket defenders. Great piece of play from the Becket defence. Night and day differences, those first 2 snaps.
Yeah, very much so. It looks like Lala got a gain of 1, gain of 2 on the play there. We're just waiting to see where the down marker moves to. It is going to be 3rd and short for Nottingham here. We've talked about it all day. The wind is going to be a factor. It looks like Burkill is there at quarterback. Will he be throwing here on the opening 3rd down of the day?
Well, Burkill's got the wind blowing into his face, and it's hard to make out on the stream itself, but being here in person, we are able to give you that information. He hands it off again to Lala. A little bit too predictable, you might say, from Nottingham, because it was an easy read for the Becket defensive line. And so it means it's 4th down, and they are short. Will they risk it, or are they going to go for a kick into the wind?
I've known Jason Scott long enough. The offense look like they're staying there. I would not be surprised early if he goes for this. It is a windy day. Schlehetko Blackburn is an accurate kicker, but in this wind, I'm not sure. Going into the wind, I'd want to risk it. You're looking at about 40-yard field goal here. I think he's going to leave the offense out on the field for about a 4th and 5 and tell the offense to go pick this up.
Well, they are doing exactly that. I wonder when your head coach days will start, Simon, because you read that perfectly. Here we go now, Burkill. Burkill on the ball. He is looking for that throw under pressure, and it's just short of the intended receiver. Looks like that was Lorcan, England.
It was. I think we have a flag down on the field. We've got the side judge ring in. Let's see what this is going to be. There's a possibility this could be pass interference on the defense. So we've got an ineligible man on offense downfield, and it will be declined by Leeds Beckett. That will be a turnover on downs.
Well, here we go. It's time for a change of possessions. Leeds Beckett have a chance to try and clear up the mess that they seem to have started with. And I think it's fair to say, Simon, Joe Walker will be furious on the sidelines.
Definitely. Making sure that you at least recover the kickoff is special teams 101. The first time you run kickoff, the first thing you're told is, get on the ball. Do not let that ball be on the floor for any longer. And there was a Beckett player just stood over it for 2 seconds.
We've got Dawson Downing sitting nice and deep, ready to receive that. The quarterback, 4 years as a running back in Division 1 football out in the US of A. What can he bring to this BUCS American football game? And he is going to run it himself. No surprises there. Lovely little gain by the quarterback. Look at the physicality. But eventually brought down by the University of Nottingham's defence. But I think he's made his intentions very clear, Simon.
Yeah, definitely. I think this level of physicality is what we're going to expect today. We got Barhin off the edge with good pressure and managed to come and clean it up in the end, but not before Downing has gained 4 yards on the play.
Well, Beckett taking the time to walk up the line. No sort of urgency there, really. Trying to stay calm and composed, I would imagine. Bit of motion there in the backfield. Downing once more, looks for the throw, finds the intended receiver, and it's a lovely little gain, a lovely little bit of first down play for Leeds Beckett, courtesy of Fred Nash.
Yeah, that was a great little play. The winds are high, so keep it short, keep it in the middle of the field. University of Nottingham looked like they came with some pressure there, and so the quarterback just dropped it off over the middle to his tight end. Take the nice easy throws, almost an extension of the running game when it's that easy.
Don't want to throw this ball very high and into the wind at any point, so like you say, fantastically smart play by Downing. More motion here at the line of scrimmage for Beckett. Downing looking for a hole. A flag has been thrown, and Downing is swallowed up by the University of Nottingham. I don't know what the plan was there, Simon. Are you going to try and translate that for us all?
Yeah, it looked like Nash coming across at the snap was moving forward at the snap. That is illegal in American football. You are allowed to go sideways. You can go backwards, but you cannot be moving forwards at the snap. It looked like he was moving forwards. The flag came out immediately, and I pointed it out on our screen as well. But I think the sack, I would presume Nottingham will decline this.
Motion.
And Nottingham have declined it. That will be second down and long here for Becket.
Now, just quickly before the snap, can you talk us through why they would have declined that penalty for everyone watching at home for the first time?
So it would have been 1st and 20 as opposed to 1st and 10, but now we're looking at 2nd and 18. So Leeds Beckett have 1 less down, but 2 less yards further to go.
Downing decides to throw very lateral, and it is definitely caught in the wind because the ball was going up and over on its ends. It was going nowhere near Octavius Carter there.
No, you saw the wind take that football. The quick rocket screen there at the outside, just trying to set up a nice easy throw. Downing's just not got the zip on it to cut through the wind, but the wind is going from one end zone to the other. It's not going across the pitch, so it's going to take the football up and down the field as opposed to left and right, and I think that's the harder way to play the game as well.
What sort of call are you going for here, Simon?
3rd and long, I reckon this will be either a Downing run or it will be a run from the running back, get some yards, punt the ball away, and let's play defence. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, I think, with this wind.
Well, let's find out. 3rd and 18 for Becket. Downing, what's he going to do? He is taking the ball for a run himself, but it looks like he's just going to run away from Nottingham, out of bounds.
Yeah, that's great clean-up from the linebackers there. Big flow over the top. All the linebackers have flowed from their outside linebacker positions all the way across. They've seen Downing take it. They had the running back as the lead blocker, but still not managed to get there. 2 players there to go clean Downing up on the sideline, and it looks like Becket are going to come out and punt this ball away.
Well, you've almost got to say that they have to, really, because they're still within their own half. And it'd be risky to try and play this on a 4th down.
4th and 15 yards as well. That's not a likely conversion, particularly in this wind. But the punter will have the wind with him today. At least, I think we've got some whistles out. We've got Lala looking confused.
Lots of whistles blown all at once and a lot of confused faces. Let's try and take a look.
I'm not entirely sure there. I thought we were going to have an official spike, but maybe the wind's messing it up. I think there was possibility of 12 men in the huddle there. It's not a penalty you see called very often, so the hand signal is not one I'm actually accustomed to all that often.
Well, Becket have lost some yards from it, so it's made the task slightly harder.
5 yards further back for Becket here.
Oh, and it's a very high snap. It's an awkward one for Fred Nash to take.
That is an unbelievable punt from Nash.
Wow.
I think he's put that out of bounds at the 10-yard line. I can't say that he's particularly planned for that, kicking it basically over his own shoulder. But Nash, take a bow. That is an incredible punt. And University of Nottingham are going to have to drive about 70 yards here to go for pay dirt.
Do you know what? I think they owe him more than a hug and a handshake on the sidelines after that. After the high snap looked to send Becket into disarray. What a fantastic punt. Right down deep in Notts territory now.
Yeah, that took a perfect Leeds Beckett bounce as well. It bounced out and it just managed to go out of bounds before going into the end zone for a touchback.
You can just see the rugby posts at the back of this field as well, swaying in the wind. You can see how violent the conditions are for everyone to deal with today. Handed off once again.
Yeah, it looked like a simple zone read play, not zone read, split zone play there. Looks like Bauer carrying the football. He is the thunderback here for the University of Nottingham compared to Lala as the lightning back. He will run through you, he will not run round you.
Thunderback, isn't that a fantastic nickname to have?
Wish I'd have
been called Thunderback when I was playing university sport. Might make me look a bit more scary on the pitch. Right, well here we go. 2nd down for the University of Nottingham. Burkill on the ball now, looking out wide for a target. Doesn't reach the intended man of Finley Old. He was covered really nicely in the end by Ben Mitchell. The number 30 there you can see on your screen. Just tracking across the pitch really well there, Simon.
Yeah, it was great. Finley Old running a little out route, 5 yards deep. just a staple from the tight end, really. Go try and pick up some yards, and with how big Finn the Old is, you can throw people off. So trying to get that yak as well, but not quite completing it there, Birkhill.
3rd and 7 now for the University of Nottingham. A snap back once more, and no more yardage for the University of Nottingham is conceded by Leeds Beckett, and you've got to say they've really turned around their dodgy start to what it is currently.
Yeah, definitely. One of those things. Momentum is such a big factor in American football, and a 4th down stand on the opening drive after not expecting to be going out on defence immediately will have been a big momentum swing, even though it is early in the game. I wonder what Loughborough Blackburn's going to be able to do here as a punter, because we saw how far that ball went being punted the other way. What's he going to do punting into the wind?
Well, the pressure's on for the GB International.
There needs to be a good mechanics here between the long snapper and punter, because we're also looking at a safety if this goes wrong.
That's a good snap of the ball, and Loughborough sends that into the sky. No! The wind's taking it way off course. It went up into the air and then it just went straight off thanks to the wind. That's really bad luck for Nottingham. But again, huge pressure from the Becket defence.
Huge pressure, straight through, 2 or 3 guys, straight through the shield of the University of Nottingham. They play a 2-man shield, not the traditional 3-man shield you typically see across university football, and sometimes that comes up with issues as you see multiple players getting pressure there, and I think Loughborough Blackburn's just knocked it off the side of his foot.
We've got just over 5 minutes left in this first quarter, and we still remain scoreless, 0-0 between Becket and Nottingham. Becket now trying the run game themselves, but it's Nottingham's turn for the defence to say, no way, you're not coming through this.
Chris Baby straight through the line to tackle Simpson in the backfield. That's what you want to see from your defensive tackles on a day like this. You know the run game is going to be prevalent when it's this windy. I think we've seen both teams already decide that the pass game is going to have to be the secondary option. It's going to come down to the defensive line of both teams and to see how well they can do.
There's been no room in this game so far as well for a running back specialist. Dawson Downing turned quarterback now for Becket to exploit. But what will he do here now with a 2nd and long? Well, he's going to throw it. Target has been received as well. Fantastic take from Octavius Carter. Has he reached the 1st down threshold for Becket?
Just trying to see if those chains are going to move. But it looks like we're playing there's a bit of soft shell coverage here from the University of Nottingham, and just a simple hitch route on the close side of your screen. Marlon McGeechy comes down to make the tackle, but not before giving up the yards.
Great take from Carter under pressure as well.
Yeah, definitely. Good hands Carter has. He's shown himself to be a really capable receiver this year.
So 3rd and 6 for Becket. You've got to say they'll want to convert this into a 1st down as they try and look to attack that goal line. And Downing is looking for the space, looking for a pocket to run into himself.
They're calling for flags. I don't think one's going to come out. I think Downing had only just stepped off the field when the contact was made, and it wasn't heavy contact either. But Becket want that 15-yard penalty. Coach Walker talked about it in the pre-game. Penalties could be a big thing, and especially with the wind today. 15 yards here, or it would have been half distance at that point, puts them not only 1st down, but also sniffing distance of the end zone. 4th down here. I'm expecting Becket to go for this. I'm not entirely sure of what their field goal capability is like, but you're looking 4th down and 5, and it does look like the offense is going to come back out onto the field. Big statement here needed from Nottingham.
You've got to argue the fact, Simon, that maybe they've got to go for it because we're still scoreless and we're nearing the end of the first quarter, and that's not a sight that any team will want to look at.
No, definitely not. Downing coming up, changing the play at the line, changing the protection. Let's see what he does here with 5 yards to go.
He's having a nice little natter there with Niall Simpson, who sat just behind him. But he's gone off. Downing under pressure, looking to move into some space. He's got 4 Notts players around him, makes the throw in the end zone.
What is the flag? There is a flag thrown around the line of scrimmage. Are we going to have a holding call bringing this back? Leeds Beckett are celebrating.
My apologies as well. He was nowhere near the end zone. I was looking at the wrong line. I was getting too excited there, Simon. I just saw Fred Nash in space. I saw him go crazy. He thinks he's converted the first down. But let's find out what the officials think, because there is, as you say, a flag.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offence number 63.
It is a penalty against the offence. University of Nottingham will accept this. The ball will be moved back and the play scratched off. That is heartbreak there for Becket.
We'll just explain quickly for those watching at home, as I say, for the first time, Simon, we've not got hardcore American football fans just in our audience. Some people will be watching for the first time. Even though Becket conceded a penalty, they still have possession.
Yeah, so possession doesn't change on a penalty. Penalties are generally considered very minor. It's not worthy enough of a possession change.
Here we go. You can see how windy it is. Our camera on the sideline shaking around with everything else up here in Leeds. And here goes Downing on that first down, looks for the early throw, and it just goes through the hands of the intended receiver for Leeds Beckett. Chris Taylor was the man cutting in field, and he just needed to so desperately grab it. But we're saying that from a nice warm Coventry booth.
It hits Taylor in the hands. He taps his chest saying, yes, that was my fault. It goes straight through his hands, and that would have been slant route. And I think he was relatively well open as well. Looked like Nottingham had played heavy coverage over to the close side of the field. It looked like just single coverage on the outside. He had a shot at the end zone there had he caught it. It will be interesting to see what the University of Nottingham do on this drive. Do they go back to the running game, or do they try the short passing game again, but get Burkill's arm warmed up, get him a bit more confident?
Well, they've had a mixed afternoon so far with the run game, and here they go now. Burkill has handed it off once more, and that's a lovely bit of gainage there for Lala.
It's that reverse pivot sweep. It's something the University of Nottingham have really been doing a lot of this year. The quarterback takes the ball, turns his back against the defense and hands the ball to the running back, who's going to the outside. One offensive lineman as a lead blocker. Lala cuts up inside it, and it looks like he's got a gain of 9 yards. 2nd and 1, the entire playbook's open here. If you want Burkill to take a shot, now is the time to do it. 2nd and 1 on your own end zone after a big turnover. This is when you want to do it.
Well, Burkill might look for him again. He's standing just off him. And he does indeed hand it off to Tafundmi. Lala!
Yeah, Tofumi Lala picks up the first down. He is a nifty little runner. We've seen him in the kick return game as well this season. He will be able to return kicks. He is an absolutely electric athlete. Went out to the Hamburg Sea Devils over in the ELF.
So, you beat me to all of my knowledge. I did loads of research, Simon. I'm supposed to be showing off.
Yeah, but I know these people.
But you can exactly see why he's got that experience. He's earned his side a first down. So here they go again. Burkill sat back waiting to receive this ball, making some last-minute adjustments. And there's the snap, handed off once more, but lots of arms waved in the air.
Yeah, I think there was nearly an illegal formation. Have University of Nottingham call the timeout in time. The receiver was stood on the line, and then he comes down. That meant there was...
Prior to the snap.
Just listen to our official timeout call by the University of Nottingham. They saved the penalty. There were only 6 people on the line of scrimmage. In American football, you have to have 7 on the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. It would have been an illegal formation.
Well, Simon, just explain quickly.
58 seconds.
Just explain for me quickly, what is the cut-off threshold for calling that timeout as well? Because people watching this will be like, that was very last minute. What are the actual rules when you can call one and not call a timeout?
You can call a timeout almost whenever in the game. The only time you can't call a timeout is if you've already called a timeout. You can't call 2 consecutively. But you can just about get it in time for the official to do it.
Here we go now. 1st and 10 for the University of Nottingham. Burkill has dropped the snap back to him. Lala's had a pounce on it to recover for the University of Nottingham. It's all gone horribly wrong, just as it looked like it was going so beautifully well. Oh, Simon.
It's going to be 2nd down and long now. I think the University of Nottingham, if they have any idea of what the time is, will burn this until the end of the quarter. I wouldn't be surprised to see a run here try and get themselves into third and manageable, and then take the quarter change and take the win change.
Obviously, that clock is still running, like you say, so if they manage to take that into contact, the clock will continue to run down. But as long as it doesn't go off bounds on the left or the right of the field, am I correct?
Yes, or an incomplete pass, that would also stop the clock. That's why I'm expecting a run play, probably through the middle. Just try and make sure they get this off before the play clock expires.
Burkill on the ball, hands it off once more. Lovely change of direction there from Lala for Nottingham, going right around the edge and down the sideline. Huge gain for the University of Nottingham. What a play!
Let's see where they spot this football. Their chains are moving. That's a first down for the University of Nottingham. I think we're expecting the quarter to expire here. But what a play. Lala's taken that on what should have been an inside zone. He looked like he was getting it bottled up. Quick bounce to the outside, and there he's gone for nearly 20 yards.
Fantastic play there from the third-year philosophy student. Clearly his philosophy...
The end of the first quarter.
Clearly the philosophy for him in this game is to run it and run it hard for his team, as the referee calls an end to that first quarter. Simon, give me your initial thoughts and reactions to what you have just witnessed.
I think I'm going to witness a running game today. I think the passing game is going to be almost non-existent. In our little commentary booth, it is being battered about by the wind. I do not understand how the guys are doing it out there on the field. I think the protagonists today are going to be Lala and Bauer for the University of Nottingham. I think it's going to be Simpson and Downing for Leeds Beckett. Those are the two players I'm expecting to watch on offence for each of the two teams. It's going to be whose running game can be efficient, and when it gets to the third and fourth quarter, whose defensive line is going to tire.
Oh gosh, you sound like a Hollywood narrator when you did that. You got all deep at the end. That was fantastic. Do you want my job?
I'm quite comfortable here at the moment.
Well, we're ready to get going in the second quarter. Nottingham lined up in position, ready to go. Burkill standing just off from his team. And he's got two options very close to him as well. Finley Old on the left-hand side of him and Lala just behind him. But he's not giving it to either of them. He's looking for a long throw. He's utilising the wind that's now behind him. But the pass is just too far in front of the big Daniel Pedro.
Yeah, Dan Pedro is a deep threat. He has speed to burn, and he used it there. Burkill clearly using the wind to launch that ball down the field. I love the aggressiveness there from Alec Glenn, the offensive coordinator for the University of Nottingham. He's called the deep shot, knowing that Dan Pedro can get that. And look, he is completely past 4 Beckett defenders. That is a walk-in touchdown if Burkill puts the ball on the money.
What a cannon of an arm there by Burkill as well. That's impressive.
That is an impressive throw. That's 50 plus yards with the wind.
I could do that. No, I couldn't. No. Well, here he is, ready to go for second down. It is 2nd and 10 still for Nottingham, and he's looked for a little dump off there to his running back. Lala's got some good yardage for the University of Nottingham. It's not the first down that they would have wanted. However, it's a nice gain to have.
Yeah, so that when we talk about the passing game being an extension of the running game, that's what we mean. A quick little pass to Lala in space. You could have just handed it off to him, but by passing it, you give him that little bit more space, you give him a little bit more to work with. So the University of Nottingham, I think, are going to go for either, in this quarter, deep shots, or just use that short passing game to extend the running game. 3rd down 4 incoming here for the green and gold.
Here comes Burkill then, man with the golden gun, the gun being his arm, the gold being the gold of the University of Nottingham. Here we go. Burkill sends that one out wide, just out of reach of the intended receiver, who ends up right amongst the Nottingham bench, the Leeds Beckett bench. I'm not sure Finley Old would have enjoyed that too much.
Oh, I don't think he minds a bit of a tussle every now and then. It looks like, yes, it looks like the punt unit for the University of Nottingham is going to come on. Now, with the wind behind them, and they're 35 yards out from the end zone, give or take, I'm expecting a little pooch punt here, or possibly, knowing Jason Scott, a fake lined up here. Let's see what he does. He could go to it early if he knows he's going to need a score.
Well, Schlehetko Blackburn is standing nice and deep. Hopefully this one doesn't go sailing over his head when the ball is snapped. You never know what you could get from Jason Scott's team. Here we go. Schlehetko with a lovely high kick.
I think we've got another punt out of bounds at about the 10-yard line.
Really good work under pressure there from Schlehetko Blackburn. These conditions are not easy for kickers, but when you have players of that quality, it makes your life so much easier.
Oh, being able to flip the field, suddenly Beckett are under pressure. They're not one fumbled snap and they are within safety territory. Suddenly 2 points could be going to the University of Nottingham here. It's one thing you never want to be as an offensive coordinator. It's backed up. It's the worst place to be.
And as if you still didn't believe us with the wind as well, as you can hear from the atmosphere mics that are in and around this stadium, you can only hear the wind, really. You can't hear too much of the players, but that is what they're having to deal with at the moment. Well, here comes Dawson Downing, sat there, ready. Let's see what play he decides to opt for on this occasion. Downing hands it off. Beckett now looking to go through the middle with the run game, but brought down really before they can even hit second gear.
Nowhere to go. That looked like Fraser Holden coming in from his middle linebacker position along with the defensive line to clear that up. Just it looked like a bit of duo or inside zone there from Downing and Niall Simpson trying to run the ball. He had nowhere to go. This Becket offensive line is really going to need to get some pushback on the Nottingham defensive line, otherwise this could be a long game for them.
Downing's got Niall Simpson there for company, just in case he gets slightly lonely standing off from the line itself. A little conversation between the two talented running backs. One obviously deciding whether he's going to throw or pass off, and he does indeed hand it off to Simpson, who checks himself, using some physicality to break free of the tackles, but he's still stopped in his tracks by Nottingham. Great defensive set so far from the Gold.
Unsung hero on that play was Barhin, number 90 for the green and gold. He stood there. It looked like Downing wanted to do the read option. He wanted to see if he could keep it, and then Barhin stands there and he forces the decision to give it to Niall Simpson, and he just tackles him there. It was a great play by Barhin.
Well, it's 2nd and 7 for Leeds Beckett. They've been able to gain 3 yards, or 3rd and 7, sorry, it should be now. I can't do maths, evidently, Simon. 3rd and 7 now for Leeds Beckett. Changing up the layout. Downing looking for someone to throw to, decides there isn't anyone home, looks to run it himself, but can't make any yards from it. I think it's even a loss potentially, Simon.
That is going to be a sack on the play. It looks like Downing went a few yards backwards. 4th down, and let's wait to see what the spot is. 4th down and 11, 4th down and 12 perhaps. It looks like the Beckett punt team is going to come out, but we saw what happened in the first quarter there with Shlehetko Blackburn. He punted it and it looked like it either came off the side of the boot or didn't go anywhere. What's going to happen on this punt?
You singled out as well on that last play, Arthur Barhin for the Nottingham, the number 90 on the pitch. He did incredibly well once more in that second snap to really force Downing to concede that he wasn't going to make the yardage. That is a bit of a banana kick that's gone wrong for Beckett as well, thanks to the wind.
The wind has held it up, and I think the ball's only going to have gone about 6 yards from scrimmage.
Well, what a game we've got on our hands, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to the weather. And just as I was trying to praise one of the Nottingham defensive linemen, I end up having to go and talk about the kick, because it's gone not only a bit banana, but completely pear-shaped for Beckett.
Yeah, definitely. The wind, we've spoken about it all day. The wind is an important factor here. And I wonder whether both teams are going to start to change their game plan, knowing that they're only going to be able to score, realistically, in the quarter where the wind is in their favour, unless they get a good running drive down the field.
Well, it's Burkill's turn now for Nottingham. Hands it off. They're going to use the run game themselves. Oh, brought down nice and aggressively, Emmanuel Bauer. But he still makes some decent yardage for the green and gold of Nottingham.
It was a good run by Bauer. He wanted to take that up the middle, bounces it to the outside, manages to gain a few yards on the play. I think the University of Nottingham here, yeah, 5-yard gain on the play there. University of Nottingham are going to see what they can do with the run game here. Bauer is the big back. He can run straight through the middle of the defence and try and tire them out for Lala to come on the field later.
Jason said in the build-up he was going to try and mix it up a bit today, but the run game's working so far, so will it again. Burkill hands off once more to Bauer, barrelling through the Beckett defensive line.
Looked like Buck sweeps the outside. 2 offensive linemen were there out leading for him. Number 72, I couldn't see who the other one was. Bauer follows his blockers, puts the shoulder down and manages to run through for a gain of a couple of yards.
It's going to be 3rd and 1, or 3rd and a few inches. It's going to be 3rd and 1. You can see the marker there out on the side, right next to the target line. Well, they'll get that covered 1st down. Burkill puts the troops in their positions, ready for the next snap. Here we go, Burkill on ball, looking for the throw down the middle. It was close. He had Finley Old slightly open, but Old couldn't get his mitts in the right position. Will they take the easy 3 here, Simon?
No, I think the pass on 3rd down here tells me this is 4 down territory. They were going for a shot to the end zone, thinking we've just had 2 runs for 9 yards. If we need a run to get 1 yard, we can do that.
Well, we've got nearly 17 minutes now without seeing any points put onto this scoreboard. It proves how close this game's going to be, but how valuable would a touchdown be in this scenario?
I think this game's going to come down to 2 scores, if that. Maybe it could be a 1-score game. So all the touchdowns are going to be extremely valuable today.
Burkill on ball, doesn't hand it off, has to track back himself to try and find the space, but Beckett have bundled the ball out of his hands. It's fumbled straight into the oven mitt of number 79, Jaden Etienne Simmons. He's had a fantastic game so far, and long may it continue from the Becket perspective.
I think Etienne Simmons has just got the fabled nose tackle interception. With the way Burkill threw that ball up, it never quite looked like...
Defence, 1st down.
Apologies, I got too excited and the official started talking. It looked like Etienne Simmons got that fabled nose tackle interception. Burkill threw the ball up and it just bobbled into his arms.
He just didn't look so sure about where it was going or who he was trying to aim to. And there he is, that man, Etienne Simmons. He doesn't like the limelight. He's a humble man, but he was fantastic and pretty instrumental. And from one instrumental man to another, Downing takes a snap in position. Hands off. Are Becket going to get a bit of gain here? They are. Octavius Carter getting 1 or 2 yards there for the men in black.
Yeah, it looked like Octavius Carter wasn't entirely sure what was going on there. He slowed down to take the jet sweep. Normally you want to be taking that at full speed so you can get to the edge. And also, Octavius Carter, the ball was moving as he went to the floor. The University of Nottingham player managed to get his arm round the ball. But could start seeing fumbles here, and turnovers are going to be huge if you see them.
Well, they're ready to go here for a 2nd and 8, so it was a gain of 2 by Octavius Carter, and now Downing assesses his options, looking up that field. Downing on the snap, 2nd and 8 for Becket, going across the pitch himself. He's found a target out wide, but it doesn't come off. Great defence there from the University of Nottingham's Frank Godfrey.
There's a lot of calls from the Becket sideline for a pass interference on that play. It does not look like it's been given, and looks like the Becket receiver was calling for it as well. We saw motion at the snap, and then we see Downing getting off the spot to his left. Very difficult for a right-handed quarterback rolling to the left.
That was Henry Rowland with his arms out to the officials, wondering what on earth was happening there. He's a man that you don't want to let have easy ball.
No, definitely not. Henry Rowland's a great tight end. Definitely not a man you want to give the ball in open space to, because he will also run straight through you.
Well, here come Becket with 3rd and 8. 8 yards to gain until they can get to that 1st down marker. Downing now takes the snap, running across the field, looking for someone to throw to. I mean, we could tell who the intended target was, but the pass just wasn't able to match.
You know, I think Becket are worried about the University of Nottingham's defensive line here. Getting Downing off his spot on a designed rollout to the left as a right-handed quarterback is something you would only do if you were extremely worried about the pressure coming through the middle. And with the pressure we've seen so far, I think Becket are going to start using designed rollouts in their offensive game plan.
Well, they're going to have to kick it away again and give it straight back to the University of Nottingham. With the way that the wind's been going so far, I doubt that we're going to see a kick return of sorts, probably just a hopeful fair catch or an out-of-bounds kick.
Yeah, it looks like the University of Nottingham's return it's come quite short, just to know where the wind's going to go.
Well, it went up incredibly high from the Becket kicker, but again, it's not gone very far, and it's gone out onto that right-hand touchline from the Becket point of view. Bit of a strange one for Becket. Can't seem to get a grasp on the attack, can't seem to get out of jail with a kick. What do they need to turn around right now, Simon?
I think Becket are going to be looking for one of two things, either a big play, whether that's on defense, a turnover, some kind of interception with how the wind's going, or they're going to be looking for half-time. They want to get out of this quarter, get out of this wind and get the wind at their backs.
Well, Nottingham are now back in offensive possession. Burkill standing off, ready, 1st and 10, here he goes. Steps back to give him some time, launches one out wide, and it's straight through the hands of a very frustrated Finley Old. I mean, unfortunately that wasn't a golden catch, but no, it won't be the last attempt we see from him.
Uncharacteristic of Finley Old to see the ball go through his hands. Normally he's about as sure-handed as you can get. Maybe the wind's just taking it at the last moment. I don't want to keep coming back to the wind, but it's all that seems to be happening today.
Well, it's hard to not mention the wind and keep coming back to it when it is a big deciding factor so far in the fixture. Kick's really not working for either side so far, and therefore the throwing game, it's going to a bit of havoc at the moment. But here we go, 2nd and 10 now for the University of Nottingham. Burkill hands that one off.
Nowhere to go for Lala there. Looked like number 47, Arthur Kingdom, coming through from his edge defensive position. Just managed to get hold of Lala to wrap him up and then get someone else to come bring him down.
High school football experience from the USA for our Arthur there. I'm saying it like that because we're up in the north. Simon.
We are in Yorkshire.
Well, what are Nottingham going to do here? It's a 3rd and 11, so they've lost a yard of field position. So really, they've got to send this long.
They're either going to send this long or this is going to be a run and see what they can get for a 4th down.
Burkill snaps back and hands it straight to Lalo. He's trying to cut infield. He's seen a gap. He's seen a really big gap. And he's exploited that to the max for a nice 1st down for the University of Nottingham. What a play.
Tofumi Lala, take a bow. Sweep to the outside. Good blocking there from the point. We've got the replay of it here. We've got Dan Pedro going up, giving a great block. Offensive line, Finley Old sealing it. Then you've got offensive linemen going up. Everything about that play worked to perfection for the University of Nottingham.
I've just got to say a special mention on that play to the number 67, Tatare Ebi Ogboma. Did really well there to help usher a nice hole, really, for Lala to run through. He did really well there. Burkill now on the 1st and 10. No such hole on this occasion for Nottingham's Lala.
Couldn't quite get around the defender in the hole. He was one-on-one, and that becomes Lala's man to beat, and he couldn't quite do it there. Maybe the legs are starting to get tired. He is carrying the rock a lot today. He's probably had almost 10 carries, and we've still got 5 minutes left in the 2nd quarter.
Well, it will do the completion percentage wonders because, well, you know, they're just handing the ball to one another. Don't laugh at me too hard, Simon. People think you're taking the mick of me. Here comes Burkill now, 2nd and 9 for the University of Nottingham. Well, that's a very low snap to the quarterback. He's got to tidy that up quickly. Hands it off to Lala. Surely he can make some magic. No, he is clattered into. Fantastic play from Arthur Kingdom. Very reminiscent of a TJ Watt celebration, that.
Yeah, very much so. Kingdom flying down. The snap being on the floor did not help. The exchange between the quarterback and the running back couldn't happen. Burkill keeps it and decides he doesn't want to be the one that gets tackled. Quick pitch out to Lala, and then it looks like that's going to be a big loss on the play. We're looking at about 3rd and 16 here.
You've just seen it pop up on the screen. It is indeed a 3rd and 16 for the University of Nottingham. They've gone from looking like they had a really promising attack with the run game to now 16 yards back from a possible 1st down. That is not something Jason Scott will want to look at for much longer, I'm sure. The orders to Burkill are coming in. Here we go, 3rd and 16. Burkill takes the snap. Oh, but he's under some significant pressure. That's a massive loss, but he's been able to dump it off. I don't know how. Lala surely running around the outside of the Becket defence, but they bring him down before anything big can happen. What on earth just happened there?
There's too much to talk about there. Burkill managing to flip that out to Lala. I think Dan Pedro had nobody covering him on the close side of the screen. It looked like the corner blitzed, but no one came to replace him. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but we've somehow ended up in a 4th down situation that isn't 4th and 30. We've got the replay. It looks Dan Pedro's looking for the ball. He's calling for it. Burkill can't get round in time. And how he gets that off to Lala under pressure, I do not know. But Lala has managed to turn a loss of about 20 into a gain of 3 or 4.
That was Grayson Hydery initially in there with the pressure. I mean, it was just incredible work from the Becket number 29. Keep your eyes on him for the rest of the match, that's for sure.
Two-minute warning.
Well, so we've got the 2-minute warning here as we start to approach half-time. So actually, as we count down to half-time, I think if Schlehetco Blackburn can get the kick in for Nottingham, it gives them something to cheer about almost going into that break.
I think anybody going into this half being in the lead is going to be a huge motivational factor. What can Schlehetco Blackburn do? He's got the wind at his back, but will the wind take it left and right? It's been going down the pitch all day.
Tell you what though, with Grayson Hydra, you can definitely tell someone's been drinking their milk.
It's good!
And another person who's definitely been drinking their milk is Schlehetco Blackburn, because that is 3 points on the board for the green and gold of the University of Nottingham. Great work in very difficult conditions there for the Nottingham kicker.
Very much so. We were both watching that kick, trying to see it. We're down by these posts. He just kicked it through. And we couldn't tell from our position. It looked like the ball didn't have enough initially. And then the wind took it. The wind again playing a factor. And it looks like they've just gifted the University of Nottingham 3 points. I'm expecting here a deep kickoff from Jason Scott. Put it back and try and make Leeds Beckett go as far down as possible.
Well, we're getting ready for the kickoff once again with Nottingham. I mean, as we just said, they'll be very happy they've got points on the board. The deadlock's broken now. It's no longer a scoreless game. And Schlehetco Blackburn is just going back to talk to his team, give them a bit of a pep talk, really, I think, Simon, at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. It's time to see what the University of Nottingham will do with this kick. With the wind at the back, Schlehetco Blackburn could put this just out the back of the end zone if he wanted. Or they could do something a bit more interesting.
Well, and there goes the kick, and it's gone absolutely miles. I'm afraid it's not in Yorkshire anymore. It's actually disappeared out the other end of the rugby club, Simon.
I think he's put it over the fence and in the stream.
Well, and at the moment, as you probably cottoned on to earlier, Simon, I wasn't milking it, I promise. BUCS are proud to be promoting Milk Every Moment campaign. And did you know, Simon, that milk can make a great post-match drink due to it being a top-notch source of high-quality protein? Yes, whether you're training for a game or fresh off the pitch, milk is rich in high-quality protein, which plays a valuable role in the growth and maintenance of muscles, as well as supporting your bone health. There you go. I'm acting as a teacher professor for you today, Simon, and everyone listening at home. So head over to milkeverymoment.com to find out more. But for now, we're going to head straight back to the game's action. It's Beckett on a 1st and 10, Downing standing in the pocket, ready to hopefully deliver a bit of hope to the Beckett charge.
Yeah, definitely. He's empty in the backfield. Time to see what he will do here.
Downing on the 1st and 10. He's now looking to throw. That is a throw to absolutely no one, though. I'm so sorry, Simon. I was getting ready to try and identify who was there as the target, but there was no target.
There was no target. He looks to have hit one of the Leeds coaches on the head with that ball as well. I'm not sure what Downing was looking at. He was going for a play-action fake, possibly for that veer option read in the middle. He looked like he wanted to almost keep the ball and run up the middle, and then has thrown it deep. I can't quite tell if it was just throwing it away because there was nothing there. Try and live to play another play.
Well, it's 2nd and 10 for Leeds Beckett University as the clock is under that 2-minute mark before half-time. And Beckett won't want to go into that break pointless. 2nd and 10, Downing now with the ball and the cannon of an arm to go out wide. But it's a bit too long for the intended target. And so we'll come all the way back for a 3rd and 10. Octavius Carter out on that far side once more, the intended recipient, but it just didn't play off.
It looks like Carter is going to be the go-to guy in the passing game. They tried to get in the ball on hitches, tunnel screens. There was another bit hitch there, just a bit deeper to try and get a few more yards. We've got about 90 seconds left here in this first half. 3rd and 10. I wonder whether, with the University of Nottingham only having 2 timeouts, Beckett will run the ball, try and make Nottingham burn a timeout, and say we can hold up on defence before the half expires.
Third and 10 now for Leeds. Beckett, Downing with the ball in his hands. He's got to run away from his line and run away from the onslaught in defence. It's a fumble of the ball, but luckily a Beckett teammate has been able to recover.
Got whistles coming in. I wonder whether this is a timeout by Nottingham.
Well, we've got a flag graphic that's popped up as well, so we're going to keep our eyes and ears peeled.
I think we've got a Nottingham player down on the field injured as well after that play.
Well, that is a side of the sport that you never want to see. You don't like seeing people down, hurt and injured. But for the meantime, whilst we have a bit of a break in play, whilst they receive some medical attention to hopefully get them back to their feet, or at least safely off the pitch as well. Let's talk a bit more about this game so far, Simon. Neither side have too much to be excited about or to write home about, but Nottingham are the ones ahead on the scoreboard. Does that reflect what you've seen out there in your professional opinion?
Yeah, definitely. Nottingham seem to have the offensive advantage. Lala seems to be carrying the ball, literally and figuratively here for the University of Nottingham. I'm not sure Becket have quite put together what they want as their offensive rhythm. They used to play a style of football that would have worked incredibly well today, that double wing, triple option offence, which was what Becket have played up till this year. But I think the University of Nottingham here look in the ascendancy.
I will say now, though, I think it's fair to say that La run game only really works when the blockers are actually doing their part for Nottingham, because when they're not, it's very obvious, because Becket come through very quickly and very sharply and are able to sort of stop that in its tracks. As we can see, the Nottingham number 17, Benjamin Kadugu, is going off the pitch now. It's good to see him walking off on his own feet as well, supporting his weight, just being assisted by the medical team. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, and we do send him all of our best. Is that a big loss for Nottingham?
That is a big loss. Benjamin Kadugu's only just come back. He started playing again last week. He's a fourth-year master's student in mechanical engineering and is only just back. So it's a big loss here. He played 3 years at defensive end, became a very good defensive end and couldn't quite find the time with his academics, but managed to come back for the second half, so I hope he's not long-term injured.
Well, we send our best wishes to him, as I say, hopefully a speedy recovery and it's nothing too serious. But for now, it's Becket with a 3rd and 10 as we approach the half-time mark up here in Leeds. And they're going to punt that one away. But again, the wind takes it before the boot can take it anywhere, really. This is becoming slightly disappointing, I think it's fair to say, Simon. I know I really shouldn't use terminology like that, but when you try kicking and it just never seems to work, but it's always going off, not on your own accord, there's not much you can do to fix it.
No, I think the punter knew as soon as it came off his boot, he put his head down, he knew where it was going. It ended up with so much backspin, the ball ended up in front of us as well. The ball was coming down to get it.
It did. I was half worried you were going to run on there, pick it up and start playing. Can't do that with your ankle.
Well, I can't do that with the fence in front of me either. So, University of Nottingham are absolutely in the mouth of the end zone. They have got 1 minute and 17 seconds left. 1 timeout left, I believe. Can they score here?
Well, Becket takes the snap. He's got to run into a bit of space. Surely he dumps this one off. Oh, that was a very close encounter. Very nearly an interception, because Daniel Pedro didn't really even stand a chance against Kevin Walcott there. Oh my goodness, my heart's in my mouth.
There was a bit of a fumble snap there. Burkill takes it, runs round. I'm not sure that's what the intended play was. I don't think Pedro was expecting the ball. So as soon as he turns around and sees the ball flying at him, he's going to panic and go, I've got to get this down. That's when the wide receiver turns into the defensive back and just tries to bat it down.
As I said just then, I was half expecting him to dump it off because he had no support around him, really, unfortunately. But here we go, 2nd and 10. The charge to the end zone remains. Bauer trying to go through the middle of that Becket defensive line. And he'll get a couple of yards for it.
Big push there. The offensive lineman, who was still stood up, managed to come back round and push Bauer. Bauer counting the number of people he's put on the floor there as he gets himself back up. That's the kind of running back he is. He doesn't want to run round you. He wants to put you on the floor, run over you and go and score the touchdown.
I can sense he gets a lot of enjoyment out of that, Simon. Has he run over you before in training?
Not in training. He may have done it once in a game, but not in training.
I'm sure you made friends afterwards.
Yeah, former Stirling Klansman, when he came down to Nottingham, then proceeded to run straight over me.
Well, here we go now. 3rd and 10 once more, or probably third and
goal.
Third and 5. Snap back to Burkill. He's looking for that pass just over the top. There is a flag here. It was just over the top to Finley Old.
It must have been pre-snap because something's happened here and they called the play dead midway through.
I thought Old was through for a touchdown there. Let's listen in to the referee.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Offside, defence. We also have illegal formation, 5 men in the backfield, offence. I rule those fouls offset, replay 3rd down.
Well, so we're going to have a straight replay of 3rd down, Simon. And for those of you watching at home that can't actually see Simon, his eyes have rolled so far backwards into his head, and they've actually gone on the bus back home to Nottingham. Simon, you're really not impressed with that, are you?
You can't have 5 men in the backfield. You are this close, and you scored the touchdown. 5 men in the backfield doesn't matter. Make sure you line up right. Step 1 in football, line up right. Step 2, know the play. Step 3, score.
And now we need to get you back to your Zen breathing, I think, Simon. Ready for the rest of this. It's still 3rd and goal for the University of Nottingham. Becket hands it off to Bauer with the power! But not enough power to get him all the way through to the end zone.
The spot of this ball is going to be interesting to see what happens.
Well, we can see the 4th down sign there in the background of the screen.
Charge time out of the gaff.
It sounds like the final charge timeout to the University of Nottingham. I believe Leeds Beckett haven't.
Well, here we go. Nottingham lining up once again. This is a 4th down play, but Burkill is still standing there, so it's probably not a punt, but there's a lot more in front of him. This is...
The flag comes out. I think Arthur Kingdom jumped over the line too early. Kingdom is going to be called for offside or a neutral zone infraction, I believe. We will wait and see, double check, but it came so early. That is the heavy formation the University of Nottingham love to run, but I want to double check that that is what happened. The back just threw it.
Well, Chris Baby all of a sudden became quarterback. I don't know what on earth just happened there. Confusion galore, flags in the air, whistles blown, and now the referees have to make another decision.
Put as many linemen on the field as you want and just run the ball. Put all the heavy bodies out and just go for it.
Is that with the 5 men in the backfield that you like so much?
There's only 4 men, hopefully, this time. Yeah, Kingdom goes for the full Troy Polamalu, jumping over the centre at the snap. I'm not sure whether that's just offside or whether he's going to be called here, possibly for a personal foul, because I think if he makes contact, I don't know quite what the penalty will be.
Number 40, defence. It's an automatic 1st down.
That is huge there. Automatic 1st down for the University of Nottingham because Arthur Kingdom touched the centre while trying to jump over him.
Wow, that is a big moment in this game. We talked about the importance of not giving away penalties, and you can see Joe Walker is not happy about this. He's come off the sideline to talk to the officiating team. I feel like he feels he's a bit hard done by.
He might feel a bit hard done by, but there was nothing wrong with the call. The call was spot on. We both saw it. The centre was contacted as Kingdom jumped over the ball. By looking at the spot of the ball, I think the University of Nottingham are going to have maybe, it could be a yard or two, it could just be inches on this 1st down here. But it's going to be interesting. The ball, it's windy today. Nottingham have no more timeouts and time is dwindling fast. Will they run it and take the risk, or are they going to try and pass it and preserve the clock?
Well, we're going to find out very shortly because we're ready to go. 1st and goal for the University of Nottingham. Brought back, here comes the physical run game. No yards gained. And no touchdown either for the University of Nottingham.
Nottingham got to run to the line. They are running out of clock.
Baby wants more.
Flag comes out. Multiple flags out.
We're still waiting to see what the official call is going to be. Just bear with us a few more seconds.
false start. Offence number 73. By rule, the clock is under a minute, therefore 10 seconds will come off the clock. There will be 7 seconds remaining.
Wow, that's a big penalty for Nottingham to give away, Simon.
Big penalty. 10 seconds there is significantly more than you expect it to be. The rest of the game, 10 seconds means nothing. With less than 20 seconds left in the half, this has just gone from trying to score a touchdown to trying to salvage this with a field goal.
Well, Schlehetko Blackburn will look to do exactly that. He will look to salvage 3 points rather than coming away with nothing. Bit of a high spike. But the points are good. 3 more will be added to the tally of the University of Nottingham. The snap, of the ball when he went back was a little bit high, so really good control there from Nottingham and Schlehetko Blackburn to time his kick perfectly.
Very much so. Looked like Teddy Hope, the holder, manages to get that ball down. Had to high point it in the air whilst down on one knee. Gets it down for Schlehetko Blackburn to kick it over. 6-0 is an interesting score. With how we've seen the wind, PATs after a conversion may not be straightforward anymore.
There are
so
2 seconds remaining. 2 seconds.
6-0 may be an interesting score. We've been told there are 2 seconds remaining in the half. The University of Nottingham will have to kick off here.
Well, it depends. What do you think that Leeds Beckett are going to do here? If they go for the fair catch and they run that down to 0, do they happily go into the half, or will they look to try and do something more magical?
It will depend on what the kick is here. I'm expecting Schlehetko Blackburn to put this along the floor. A little squib kick, as it is called. Just grubber it along the floor, and then as soon as the Beckett player picks it up, the clock will begin to run. Whether he immediately takes a knee and then tries to get one offensive play off before the half, I don't know. Maybe they'll try and get a return if they feel like it.
So he's not sending this one to Newcastle then?
I don't think he's sending this one to Newcastle. He'll try and put it as far back as possible, but low and on the floor.
Let's see exactly what he does. Here we go. Schlehetko Blackburn with the kickoff. He's sending it to Newcastle. By the looks of things, the wind has indeed taken it all the way up to the Geordies.
Jason's clearly listening to the stream and decided to do the opposite of whatever I decided to say. Leeds Beckett will take over from around the 25-yard line with 2 seconds left on the clock. I'm expecting to see a prevent defence here from the University of Nottingham, and whether Beckett just either kneel it and go into the half 6-0 down, or whether they'll have one pop at the end zone. Maybe they try and set up some sort of screen, get bodies out in front.
I highly doubt they'll take a knee, surely, because Joe's already spoken about how important this fixture is, not only to him, but his entire squad. And at no point will they want to look like they're conceding anything to University of Nottingham, no?
Although I'm not entirely sure of the formation. It looks like we've got Downing under centre. The running back does not seem interested, and he has indeed taken a knee.
Well, there you go. What do we know, Simon? They're not doing anything that we tell them to do.
Exactly.
That does take us. That does take us.
At 20 past the hour.
That does take us into half-time as you hear the referee announce. And Nottingham are currently 6-0 up against Leeds Beckett. And Simon, just before we reflect a bit more on that first half, very quickly summarise it in one sentence.
Windy, very windy. University of Nottingham in the ascendancy.
It's like a children's book, that one. Very poetic of you. Thank you, Simon. Well, all roads lead to Loughborough from this competition and BUCS Big Wednesday. Let's get excited for it.
Welcome to BUCS Big Wednesday, powered by New Balance.
It's the final play, and look at the celebrations, look at how much it means to Northumbria.
And that is full time here, and Nottingham reigns supreme.
And he will take it in for the second Loughborough touchdown.
White will head for the corner, but he won't need to get there. The referee blows the full-time whistle.
So I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Tonya, our BUCS American football coordinator. Tonya, let's just quickly start by asking, are you actually a fan of American football? Let's just clarify that for everyone that might be interested.
You could say so. I do love American football. So I've been involved in American football since, 2015? Obviously still playing myself as well. So yes, I am a massive fan of American football.
Have you got a team that we need to shout out then, one that you're a
part of? No.
That's fine, we'll move on from there. Let's talk a bit more about your role and sort of the things that have been rolled out this year with BUCS American football. Can you take us through some of maybe the groundbreaking parts of this season, or some things, some innovations perhaps that people need to know about?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing hopefully for next season, which we've sort of been working on this year, is for the National League, which hopefully should elevate the game within the HE sector. We've obviously got the paper pass, we're going through the implementation stage now. The hope is to get that National League up and running for the 25-26 season, just trying to remember what year it is. But hopefully if that does come through, that should be, like I said, a massive innovation for the game. So yeah, fingers crossed that goes through, but yeah, really excited about what that would look like.
And the demand really is there for American football, isn't it? I mean, you look at one of these sides here today, the University of Nottingham, they've got a second team in American football, and that's really unheard of, I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, but now it's becoming more and more common as more and more students pick up the helmets.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we have about 4,000 students across the programme playing American football. It's an absolutely incredible thing, or incredible feat for a sport which hasn't necessarily been traditionally viewed as a traditional sport in the UK. The sport is definitely growing. I think what we're looking to do at flag football as well is, again, another avenue to continue to grow the game as well and just get more people playing. So yeah, very sort of exciting times. Again, sort of just talking about the Nottingham team, obviously their second team played earlier on today in Cambridge and have provisionally secured promotion up to Tier 1 as well. So again, it's absolutely incredible. So long may it continue. Hopefully more and more teams start growing second teams as well. So yeah, very, very exciting times.
And a big part of that is also the fantastic partnership you've established with the BAFA themselves. I mean, can we talk a bit more about that relationship? It must have just blossomed over the last few years, surely.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, I wouldn't be here if BAFA haven't seen sort of value within the HE sector. Obviously, as an NGB, they've really seen the HE sector as an area to sort of grow the game and develop the game, and that's why they've effectively funded as well. So to effectively grow and develop the game within the HE sector. So again, all credits and all plaudits to BAFA, because again, like I said, without their support and their sort of belief in the HE sector, this role would not be in existence. So.
Well, let's go back to that National League as well, because obviously it started off with BUCS Super Rugby, then the Women's National League came around. They have grown year on year, and the student involvement of rugby has grown alongside it as well. Are you hoping for much of the same with American football?
Yeah, exactly that. I think that's sort of the example we're trying to follow. I think a roadmap has been set with the rugby union. Again, who knows if we're going to get sort of the same number of teams across the programme. Like I said, rugby union is traditionally viewed as a traditional sport in the UK. But yeah, I think that's the roadmap we're looking to follow, and I think long may it continue. I think sort of the marketable value of the National League as well is going to be incredible. What it potentially does in terms of the quality of games, also sort of just the inclusiveness of the National League as well. I think it will be a great asset as well.
Now, Tonya, before I let you get back to enjoying the match, I've got to ask you, the question is going to be on everyone's lips. It's going to be at the forefront of everyone's mind. Who's your Super Bowl pick? Are you going with the 49ers, or are you a Taylor Swiftie Chiefs fan? What are you thinking?
I am hoping American football wins.
Oh, that's such a well thought out. You've had political training, haven't you, Tonya? Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I will let you get back to enjoying the game.
Good speak, James. Thank you.
it back.
Well, Simon, we've taken a little bit of a breather because we did need to catch our breath after what was a very competitive first half. And what was your half-time refreshment of choice?
Just a bit of water today.
A bit of water?
Exciting. No.
Nothing exciting. Do you know what? I feel like you're missing out. Do you know what you should have probably had?
Go for it. What should I have had?
I reckon you should have had a glass of milk, because as part of the Milk Every Moment campaign, we are helping American football and sports players within BUCS get the most out of their game. Milk provides a range of macronutrients, vitamins and minerals which have roles in health that are particularly useful for those who play endurance sports. For example, milk provides high quality protein which helps support muscle growth and repair, and B vitamins to assist with energy release. A glass of milk is great for refueling and repairing those tired muscles after a physical match, such as a big American football clash. And to find out more, head over to milkeverymoment.com. Simon, have I convinced you to have a glass of milk now in future?
Yeah, you've definitely convinced me now.
God, I should run for Prime Minister or something with that sort of convincing power. Wow, I'm impressed with myself on that. Really good job. Tell you what, that half, it was quite something else. I think they did need to all go and have a glass of milk, because it's fair to say Becket need to come out, turn their game around. Nottingham need to come out, and they need to stop settling for kicks. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. Not the Leeds Beckett. They need to come out and actually put together an offensive drive. We haven't seen one yet. We've seen a couple of plays strung together, getting them down the field, but we haven't seen much else from Becket in terms of University of Nottingham getting in the end zone. So yeah, this was an enormous kick here from the punter. He's managed to flip the field entirely. I think that was a big play there in the first quarter.
But that was with the high snap as well, which almost completely ruined it for Becket.
Yeah, definitely. I think normally you see a high snap and it's all over, but there he's managed to flip the field, putting Nottingham on the 10-yard line.
And shortly after one of many conversions, it must be said so far, for Dawson Downing at fullback. I mean, him and Octavius Carter are establishing a good relationship, are they not?
Yeah, they definitely are. It looks like Carter is the go-to man here for Becket in the passing game.
And that was an example of Birkhill's absolute cannon of an arm, and it almost found Daniel Pedro. They'll definitely try that again in the second half, won't they?
Yeah, definitely, but only when the wind's behind them. When they're going into the wind, I don't think they're going to have any chance of managing that.
Here we are, another example of Dawson Downing coming under pressure, actually, from the University of Nottingham. So they've got to keep that defence going in the second half, and I think it's fair to say Downing actually needs to change up the way he approaches this game.
Yeah, I think so. He's towards the end of that half, we noticed Downing getting off his spot, designed rollouts, but he couldn't quite do anything. I think that's what Becket are going to have to do going into the second half. But this is more of what University of Nottingham have to do. Lala with the big run there, taking that up towards the end zone.
Tafumi Lala. Remember the name, because you're going to need it for the future, that's for sure. So just look at that. I mean, to go from, you know, nearly losing like 15 plus yards, and thanks to that running back, you break even really on the play, it's fair to say. I mean, it's great to have him at their disposal.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable play from an unbelievable player. He's managed to take, like you said, take that from a 20-yard loss into a big gain.
Now that's the first of 3 points, and watching it back again, you can see it does take a slight deflection off of the D-line charging towards him as well. So when you think about it, Slaheko Blackburn has done really, really well to convert there.
He's got a big leg. I've seen him convert nearly 55-yard field goals, and they're just the powers managed to get it through. But this is what the University of Nottingham need to change. They need to be able to change those tackles, those turnovers down in the red zone. They need to get themselves into the end zone.
Well, and then you can see the penalty was given away by Arthur Kingdom, and then Slaheko Blackburn easily converting into another 3 points. So that's how they ended up being 6-0 ahead going into the halftime break. And now our teams are back out warming up. Do you feel like the fire in the belly has been warmed from a Leeds Beckett perspective? Because at the moment, if they were to continue playing the way they did in this second half as they did in the first, I'm not sure many would write them for many more points on the scoreboard.
No, I think Coach Walker will have had a word with them. They will have made the situation clear. We've said this is first v second as it stands in the table. We are provisionally expecting this, with results of other games, to be first and second in the division. But the University of Nottingham won the first game by 10 points, so Leeds Beckett need to take this game by 11 points or more to secure the number 1 seed, presuming both teams end at 7-1 in that case.
Well, and exactly that. So at the end of this game, we still won't know for certain, with 100% certainty, which team will go forward with that number 1 spot in the North Division.
No, definitely not. But I think both teams still have games to play, but they both know the score here. Everyone thinks it's going to come down to the winner of this game. And because of how the tiebreakers work, it's going to be the head-to-head scores. Nottingham won the first game 30-20. Beckett are 6 points down. They need to win this half and win by 16 points. They need to get themselves 10 ahead of the University of Nottingham. So not only have they not scored any points, they now have to start coming out and piling it on in the context of this game.
Well, and how important is that number 1 seed as well in terms of getting to the BUCS Big Wednesday final to win the overall championship?
Oh, home advantage is crucial. I can speak from experience being the number 1 seed before in the North. Makes such a difference because you know you don't have to travel. You wake up, you drive down to wherever your home field is and you play the game. You do not have to worry about going to Bristol or going to Cardiff or anywhere like that. You don't have to travel to Durham. There are some far-flung places here in this Premier Division and you do not want to be travelling to them if you don't have to.
Well, I mean, don't give Cardiff too much stick. There's some fabulous Welsh cakes down that way that you should definitely check out if you're down that way again, Simon. But enough about my stomach grumbles, and let's talk more about the grumbles that Jason Scott will have on the other side of the pitch, because whilst he is currently in the lead with his side, it's not perfect so far because he's only scored kicks, no touchdowns so far for the University of Nottingham, and they basically gave one up without anyone forcing them to in that first half. They were through.
Yeah, they were there. Finlay Old had taken the reception. He'd managed to score, and then he gets called back for 5 men in the backfield. I've known Jason a long time, and I've known some of the things he said is, number 1, make sure you can line up properly. And that there is somebody not lining up properly because they only managed to have 6 men on the line of scrimmage. They needed 7, as we talked about earlier with the illegal formation. So University of Nottingham really going to have to make sure that they dot all the I's, cross the T's, and make sure that they are sound going into this second half.
Well, if there's one man that can certainly start to steer them in the right direction, it will, of course, be Jason Scott. I mean, how huge is it that the University of Nottingham have a man like him to be able to guide them through this league? I mean, he is, after all, the GB coach.
Yeah, GB coach, spent time in America as well. He's had experience down at Mississippi State the year Dak Prescott was there as quarterback. He's had a lot of experience around American football, and it does show. He knows what he's talking about. He knows how to coach and to lead a team. The guys come out here and they want to play for him. It's such a big asset for Nottingham to have him there as their head man.
Well, I'm just trying to assess, Simon, what's going on at the moment, what's being weighed up so far. Because you can see Becket they're already spread out. They are ready to go. They're just waiting for Nottingham to be ready to go.
I think they must be waiting for an official or possibly the chain crew to be ready. It looks like Nottingham are ready to go. It looks like Becket are ready to go. Yeah, we do look like we've got an official just chatting with the chain crew. So I think that'll be the last little bit here to sort out before we kick this game off.
Now, can you quickly explain to us what the chain crew are for those watching American football at home for the first time? When we talk about the chain crew, we're not talking about Fleetwood Mac in an off manner. We are actually referring to a big part of the game day officiating team in a way, because they are part of the officiating team.
They are. So American football, high-tech sport, lots of things going on, and yet how to get a first down is measured by a link of chain. And it still is, even at the professional level.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It is. You see the two big orange markers. One of them will be where the ball was spotted initially. The second one will be the first down marker that is where the teams have to get to. Occasionally, if it's tight, you will see them walk out onto the field and put it directly next to the ball to do what's called a measure. So if you've got a big conversion there, sometimes if it's close, teams will ask for a measure, and they will bring the chain out, stretch it out taut, and make sure see if the team has got the first down or not.
Well, there we have it. We could start a little YouTube series of you explaining all the rules of American football for everyone at home. It is obviously interesting, and of course the number board at the side, that obviously signals what down we're on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So first down it's currently set on 2. It doesn't really matter for a kickoff, but obviously it'll be set at 1 following the kickoff. So normally you'll see it at 1 during a kickoff. But yeah, that will show what down it is. It will also be placed where the ball is spotted. So if the ball is spotted 5 yards down the field, that down marker will move 5 yards down, and it will show second, and it will show how far they've got to go.
There we have it. You've explained exactly what people needed to know. And look, we also are going to have another 2-minute warning towards the end of the match as well, won't we? Do you quite like having a 2-minute warning there? Because it's a bit of alien territory for people who participate in traditional British sports. We don't really have a 2-minute warning at the end of a Six Nations match or a BUCS Super Rugby game. And we also don't get that in the Premier League or indeed with BUCS footballs.
No, we don't. 2-minute warning almost functions like injury time in a sense that it gives people a noted time point. It gives both teams a free time out, but only at that specific time point. It stops the game. And also, as a previous defensive lineman, I like to stop and have a little rest during that 2-minute warning. Towards the end of the half, you're getting quite tired. Gives people time to have a quick breather, catch their breath before the last 2 minutes.
So it has a bigger role to play than many people just think, because lots of people tell me they just think it's for adverts.
No, it's not. Whether in the professional sport it's just for adverts, sometimes you don't know. But definitely here it's got a bigger role to play.
Well, we've heard the whistle blow a few times, so he must be ready to get going once more. And Shlehetko Blackburn is lining up in front of the ball. And we are underway here in the second half at West Park Rugby Club here in Leeds. It's Becket against Nottingham. And that's a clean take from the kickoff. So Becket will restart this game here in the second half.
Yeah, that was smart there by Kingdom. He ran up, he took the ball and he fell straight to the floor, knowing he was about to get absolutely levelled by the University of Nottingham coming down.
Now, going back to our first-time viewers as well, many may have just realised, Simon, you'll need to explain this for them. Didn't Nottingham kick off in the first half as well? And then didn't Becket have a bit of an almighty kerfuffle about who was supposed to catch the ball?
They did. So once the ball's kicked, it is live. As long as it's gone 10 yards, any team can recover it. And that's what happened then.
Well, here we go. 1st and 10 for Leeds Beckett. Downing sat, ready to take the snap. And Downing hands this one off, clearly stating he wants a run game, and it's a huge gain right from the get-go for Leeds. Beckett still going and just out, but pretty much down the other end of the pitch. Daniel Francis, take a bow.
Yeah, that's a great run by Beckett to start the half. We talked about Beckett needing to chain some plays together. You don't need to chain plays together if you run for 50 yards. If you go straight down the field, there is no need to try and move that ball conservatively. And we're going to be looking at first down and very close to goal here for Leeds Beckett.
Now that is quite the wake-up call for the University of Nottingham. Welcome to the second half, the green and gold. What are Beckett going to do from this position? Downing, 1st and 10. Takes the snap, handed off once again. Clearly looking to use that run game. Another large gain, though, for Leeds Beckett, once more courtesy of Daniel Francis.
We've got a flag down on the field. Let's see what this is. It might be coming back. Got Barhin clapping for the University of Nottingham as if it's going to be coming back.
Holding, offence number 18. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
Wow, and the expression on your face, Simon, no one can see it, so I'll have to describe it again. It was almost like a bit of a shock and horror, as if he'd eaten a spicy chilli. You are also not impressed with that, because just as Becket had got themselves on the front foot in a really good position, they've conceded a large amount of yardage.
Yeah, Henry Rowland's there with the holding call. He was the point blocker there on the play, so it was an important block, and I did look at it and wonder whether it would get called for holding, and it did. 10 yards back, 1st and 20 now here for Becket.
Well, here comes Downing on the 1st and 17. He's opting to run it himself, the quarterback, but he is sent back down into the ground by the University of Nottingham's Alex Gray. What a great piece of work from the number 15.
Yeah, Alex Gray come over from North Carolina State here to play for the University of Nottingham. He is an American scholar for the green and gold, and he's showing why on that play, flying down from his middle linebacker position, getting Dawson Downing on the QB sweep. It's kind of what we saw in the first half. Dawson Downing wanting to get off his spot. He didn't look like he wanted to throw it that time. Looks like he just wanted to go for the run.
Well, it's a 2nd and 17 now, so Becket have made no gains in that most recent play. So Downing, a lot on his plate, a lot to deal with right now. Hands it off straight away again, though, to Francis. And Francis can't do anything special on that occasion.
Yeah, that was a great wrap-up by number 4, Jensen Bosworth there. Again, coming down from his linebacker position. These linebackers are flowing for the University of Nottingham. It's what they're going to have to do. Becket look like they want to stretch the sideline. They want to go left and right, east-west running. They're not looking at that north-south running that you sometimes see from players. So the linebackers are going to have to flow. They're going to have to run and be good tacklers in space, and Bosworth was there.
Well, it's now 3rd and 17 for Leeds Beckett. Got to try something different here. That's a lot of yardage to make up all in one play. I mean, you could argue they'll also play the 4th down, but let's wait and see. 3rd and 17 now. Downing waiting for the snap. Downing has a bit of trouble that he has to deal with. He's found himself with space and a target who's open and surely going through the middle. What's the call from the officials? It is a touchdown. Leeds Beckett are the first to strike in this second period of play. What a score from Preston Smith.
And that could be huge. There was big pressure from the University of Nottingham. Downing manages to step up through the pocket, find his receiver over the middle. The receiver didn't seem to have anyone on him. Scramble rules had happened. The receiver had lost his DB, and he's run into the end zone for a touchdown. What a momentum swing here at the start of the second half.
Well, instantly we have a tied game in just one swooping motion and one brilliant piece of play from Beckett. And now they'll look to take the lead for the first time in this game. The snapback isn't good. Downing's going to have to try and fake it and make it.
The ball's out, and they've called it dead. The officials have called it dead quite early there. Dawson Downing was still going to the floor as the ball came out. That could have been 2 points the other way for Nottingham had the officials not blown the whistle so quickly.
That was a little bit tricky there, because Patrick Elhert had himself set the number 99 to take the kick. He was all in position, and even though there was a slight fumble with the snap with Downing, he still thought he was going to be able to kick it, but the ball was flat.
Yeah, the ball didn't quite get there.
But let's take a look at the run that set it all up. Fantastic play from Daniel Francis. Just look at the gain from the number 16.
Yeah, that's such a big gain. Great run there, all the way from Daniel Francis.
And also, let's take a look at that touchdown that's seen them tie the score now in this game. Here it is for us to enjoy now.
That's great pressure up the middle. Chris Bailey doesn't quite manage to get Downing, and he's got his receiver over the middle. Nobody there trying to tackle him before he gets in the end zone, but they cannot. Beckett in for the touchdown.
Ooh, was there a knee there from a Nottingham perspective? Was there a knee just before he made the line?
Not entirely sure. What are we doing here? Oh, we've got one man. I couldn't quite tell what was going on.
Well, just like that, in a matter of minutes, in a matter of a few moments, Leeds Beckett have tied this game right at the beginning of the second half. Jason Scott will be spitting feathers on that far side of the pitch as Beckett get us started once more. And that's another ball off to Newcastle.
Almost looked like it hit the crossbar there. Should get a bonus point.
Crossbar challenge, anyone? I back you, Simon.
I definitely wouldn't. So the University of Nottingham going to come out here. We saw Lala really be the predominant threat on the ground. I wonder if they're going to stick with him. Will they try and go to Bauer, the running back, the thunder back, number 8, Emmanuel Bauer? Or will they stick with Lala, try and dance around the outside?
Hey, look, it's about Bauer with the power. And I'm not sure what he'll be able to do in this second half until we see it. And that's why I want to see him on the ball in this first snap.
Looks like we've got Lala out there at running back for the University of Nottingham. Bit of communication going here between Finlay Old and offensive coordinator Alec Glenn.
There's a lot of chatter from Nottingham. There's a lot of movement, a lot of switching of positions. What's Burkhill going to do now with the field that he's been presented with? Let's find out. 1st and 10 now for the University of Nottingham. The snap's good to Burkhill, and he hands off straight away to Lala, but there's nowhere for him to go except straight into the clutches of Preston Smith, the touchdown scorer.
Nothing else to do there. Lala had nowhere to go. The offensive line could not block that up. That looked like heavy pressure being sent there by Leeds Beckett. I wonder whether they're going to start going into a cover 1, cover 0 world, bring an extra man down into the box to play the run. Until University of Nottingham can show that they can throw the ball, Leeds Beckett do not have to respect it.
And there's a man who doesn't have a happy expression on his face, and it's no surprise to see why. Time for a second down now for the University of Nottingham. Handed off once more to Lala, but this time he's running around everyone, maybe just breaking through the tackle. Did he fumble the ball there?
We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what the officials call. I'm not sure he's going to say he's gathered possession of it.
Confusion there between the Becket defenders and the call of the referees.
Let's wait and see what the official says. Oh, flags thrown on the University of Nottingham sideline. I'm not sure what's going on here.
It's just out of view of our camera as well, so we genuinely can't tell what's just happened. We are going to have to listen into the referee when the call is made. Bear in mind, this will be a 3rd down for the University of Nottingham currently because they didn't make that 1st down marker.
Head umpire looks like he's looking for Coach Walker on the close sideline.
Well, let's take a look at a replay of that incident. So here you can see Lala running through the line. He does fumble the ball as he's tackled, and then it's the Beckett, number 16, Daniel Francis. And to be fair, he did have a fair claim on that ball. So you can see why he's looking slightly frustrated that the officials were calling it not a fair take.
Yeah, so it's difficult to tell. There was the possibility that he would still have the ball bobbling. That was what the juggling motion from the official was trying to suggest. Let's see if the official gives us anything here. But it looks like the University of Nottingham have moved up a big distance, and it looks like they've been given a 1st down.
They've got the 1st down. They're right on the halfway line.
So it looks like the wind is causing problems with the official mic, but it looks like personal foul and a player ejected, I believe. We do not know who, I'm afraid, but it seems as though a player has been ejected, I presume for Leeds Beckett, based on the signal of the personal foul.
Simon, what on earth has just happened there?
I would love to tell you, I can only presume maybe a punch has been thrown or words have been exchanged, but to be ejected immediately is very big, unless... I believe that's actually number 29.
So it's Grayson Hadery who's actually leaving. Leeds Beckett's number 29. Grayson Hadery is leaving the arena where we're playing currently, or so we're hearing. But it's interesting, we didn't really see him. So we'll try and watch a replay again in the future. But it's back with Nottingham with the 1st and 10. But that's a big loss for Nottingham to start off their latest drive with.
Yeah, again, Beckett do not have to respect the pass until Nottingham can show they can do it. They are just blitzing everybody they can at Lala and saying, run round me. See what you can do. If I fill every gap with 2 guys, what can you do?
Preston Smith was key in that. You can see him just looking around his teammates being like, am I the only one that's going to do this? Anyone else going to help me? Anybody else want to go? But here we go with Nottingham then. 2nd and 13. Burkill hands it off. But again, no gain there for the University of Nottingham. Simon, this is starting to look like a bit of role reversal here. Dire moments for the University of Nottingham.
Yeah, definitely. They need to get themselves into gear and fast. They need a big play, and realistically, we're looking at Lala to spark it for them. Another big run is what's needed. They need basically what Becket had to open the half, a big 50-yard run to take it all the way down towards the end zone. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. We're looking at 3rd and long. Are we going to trust Burkill? Are University of Nottingham going to trust Burkill to throw it, or are they going to go for the run again? Lala still on the field.
Well, let's keep our eyes peeled on Burkill and his accompanying running back. As the ball is snapped to him, he hands it straight away. No delay there. Lala trying to go through the middle, but a huge collision straight away on him. And what do you know? It is number 79, Jaden Etienne Simmons. He is on fire in this game for Becket.
The big nose tackle is coming through. They are looking for the outside zone here on Nottingham. They want to run away from all the fast players. But Etienne Simmons is getting straight through, knocking his offensive lineman back and getting straight into the backfield. Lala's got nowhere to go. I wonder if we're going to see a change to Bauer at running back here, whether they're going to go away from the speed and try and go to the power.
Well, this is a 4th down. It looks like the kicker is out for the University of Nottingham. So Schlehetko Blackburn has got to try and turn this around, flip the field, as you say, for the University of Nottingham, get them in a slightly better position. And there's the snap. It's a really good one. And it's a really good kick from Schlehetko Blackburn. Even though the wind caught it, it has gone back into Becket territory.
I think that's about as good as he's going to manage with the wind. He started the snap when there was no wind, and then, of course, as soon as the ball gets snapped, the wind picks up. He's got that a good 30 or 40 yards, though, from the line of scrimmage. He's managed to turn it round. The University of Nottingham defence here needs to make a stand, and that defensive line, Barhin, Baby, Webster, they all need to start stepping up and stopping this run game.
They'll be dreaming of a fumble now, the University of Nottingham, because to reclaim possession in this sort of territory on the pitch, that would mean the world to them right now.
Oh, it would do.
1st and 10 for Leeds Beckett University. Dawson Downing hands it off straight away once again. But this time, it's Nottingham's defence that are on fire to stop any sort of run game.
Yeah, Gray and Webster there combining on the tackle. Nowhere to go for the running back. He's tried to go up the middle. Looks like a little inside zone, just trying to find the crease and then go through it. Nothing happening there. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 here for Becket.
Tom Morris was the running back on that occasion and just couldn't find a gap to exploit. Whether they look to run it again, I'm not sure, because, well, they didn't make anything there. It's a 2nd and 10 for them. 2nd and 10, Dawson Downing. He's going to look to throw this. It's a long throw downfield as well. Pass broken up, thankfully, from a Nottingham perspective by Marlon McGeechee.
Yeah, McGeechee does very well to bat that down. There's a possibility he could have intercepted it there, and I think he's kicking himself a little bit. He looked like he tried to bat it down, not knowing quite where. It looked like Carter was the receiver on the play there, not quite knowing where he was. But we're going to be 3rd down and 10 here for Becket. They have the wind at their backs. The passing game is going to be easier for them. We've just seen them try and throw a deep pass. Do we expect another one?
And I think a special message to Dawson Downing, you really don't want to float the carrot on the end of a stick to a former NFL Academy player, because McGeechee will punish you.
No, definitely not. McGeechee not coming down with that is a big one there. That could have been an interception and suddenly a flip in possession.
Well, this is the 3rd and 10 now. Downing takes the high snap for Leeds Beckett, looking for someone to throw to. Sends the throw downfield. Is it collected? No! Broken up deep downfield. And Beckett with another incompletion. Surely they'll have to punt this one away, because not even Fred Nash could get on the end of that.
Yeah, Nash needed to come down with that. Would have been a huge conversion there for Beckett. Suddenly, Beckett have gone from being about 20 yards away from the end zone to having to punt it away. I presume punt away. We will just double check and wait to make sure the punt team does indeed come out, as it looks like they are doing. So Beckett have had 2 chances there to get the ball deep down the field. The first one batted down by Marlon McGeechee, the second one through the hands of Nash.
Large change of personnel there by Leeds Beckett does suggest that they will be punting this away, and indeed they have got their kicker in position.
Looks like Beckett are missing a couple of players here.
Here we go now, 4th and 10 for Leeds Beckett University. Ball sent back to Nash. And the punt goes through. That's a lovely kick down the field, but out the back of the end zone. Simon, tell us all, where's that going to be starting from? The 25-yard line?
So that'll be starting from about the 25-yard line. If it goes out the back of the end zone, it is what's called a touchback. So once it's out the back of the end zone, much like in rugby, we're going to have different things. It doesn't just get immediately handed over. But here, the University of Nottingham, with no ability to return that, will take over the ball at about the 25-yard line.
Now, in American football, when you look at this with your coaching hat on, as I know you do often, Simon, would you rather a team concede it through the end zone in terms of you kick it directly through the end zone for a touchback, or would you rather that your special team work together, try and collect it downfield and get it as close to that touchdown area as possible?
Depends how good your special teams unit is. I've seen people go, kick it to the 1-yard line, make them return it, knowing that the team will fly down and tackle them. Sometimes just put it out the back of the end zone. Let's not risk it.
1st and 10 now for the University of Nottingham. It's actually Burkill's going to run with it. It was a lovely fake play. Burkill slides down after getting the first down. That is expert stuff from the Nottingham quarterback.
And suddenly Beckett have something else to respect. Burkill's legs. Burkill has not tried to pull the read option yet. And then suddenly he pulls it, goes for a gain, goes for a first down as he goes over Alec Glenn. And if I was Burkill, I'd be going, call it again, coach. Call it again.
Well, look, the fake fooled me because I definitely thought he was handing that one off. But look, Burkill does a show and go. I think it's going to split the Beckett defence now. Was that its intention?
Yeah, definitely. Suddenly the edge defenders for Beckett are going to have to respect Burkill. It means they cannot crash down immediately on the running back. So every time they're going to have to stand there and go, has he kept it? Has he kept it? No, he hasn't. By which point, Bauer or Lala will have run past you.
And straight into the end zone, probably, at this rate. Well, here we go. 1st and 10, University of Nottingham. That one is handed off to Bauer, but on this occasion, he stopped before he can make any yardage. And once again, it's that touchdown scorer, Schmidt, who was the first one to get the hit in.
Yeah, Beckett brought a 6-man pressure on that play. 6 defenders rushing at the quarterback. You would typically only rush 3 or 4. Rushing 5 is called a +1 blitz. 6 is a +2 blitz, meaning that there is no help deep in the middle of the field. There was nothing there. Beckett was selling out for the run.
Well, 2nd and 10 now for the University of Nottingham. Or 2nd and 11, sorry, I should say. They'd look to have lost some yards. And here we go, Burkill. He looks to fake it once more and tries the run on his own, but on this occasion, it's read superbly, and there was a fumble.
Ball was out. Burkill must have fumbled the ball as he went down. Looks like a University of Nottingham player has managed to dive on that, and they have recovered possession. It looked like Lorcan England diving on the ball.
Burkill took a big hit there in that process. I mean,
Burkill looks shaken up.
Let's take another look at it now. Brilliant fake handoff, but the block from Bauer didn't come off. So it was an easy invite for Arthur Kingdom to come round that edge and chase the quarterback down.
That's a great play by Arthur Kingdom. It's what we talked about earlier with Barhin. He was looking at trying to hand the ball off to Bauer. Kingdom said, no, you've got to keep it yourself, and then had enough speed to get himself out and to tackle Burkill on the sideline. So here we've got Jason Scott, the head coach, Alec Glenn, the offensive coordinator, and Burkill all deciding what they're going to do here.
It's difficult for Nottingham because the wind is currently playing havoc with this match, as it has done the entire time, but it's still blowing into their faces. It's not helping them by coming from behind. It's Becket who currently have that advantage if they take over an attack.
Yeah, definitely. I think we spoke about it in the second quarter, that the teams are only really going to have that chance of scoring while the wind is at their backs, and University of Nottingham currently going into the wind. We've got about 2-3 minutes left here in this third quarter. I wonder if we're going to see a run here. Maybe try and burn a bit of clock, burn a bit of time out, punt the ball away, and then just give it back to Beckett and say, you're going to be turning around in about 90 seconds. See what you can do then.
Well, here comes Burkill, 3rd and 18 for the University of Nottingham. That is a daunting task. Let's see if Burkill can captain them towards a first down conversion. There's the snap to Burkill. Lovely throw laterally across the pitch. But virtually no gainage for the University of Nottingham, despite the best efforts of Daniel Pedro.
Yeah, Dan Pedro looked to take that tunnel screen. And it looks like Leeds Beckett have taken a timeout here. I wonder whether Beckett know this is almost fourth quarter style territory where time's running out on you having the wind at your back. They're gonna take it out, and they're gonna ask Nottingham to punt into the wind.
Timeout, Leeds. It's the second charge timeout of the half. 2 minutes 35.
2 minutes 35 left on the clock in this third quarter. Why would Beckett take a timeout there, Simon?
I think, as we've just said, make Nottingham punt it into the wind. I mean, it wouldn't have made much difference. 2 minutes 35, losing 40 seconds would have brought that down to just under 2 minutes. But then you've got less time with the wind at your back. We've said it all day. We've got to see what Loughborough Blackburn can do here. He probably put the first good punt into the wind out earlier.
Look at that aggressive sprint position of all of the linemen for Becket. Another high snap. Loughborough Blackburn is in trouble here, even if he's able to collect it, and he's not.
It's a safety out the back of the end zone, and that will grant Leeds Beckett the lead. It will be 8-6. That is 2 points to Leeds Beckett.
Holy moly. What is going on here at West Park Rugby Club?
Worse than that, the University of Nottingham now have to kick off to Leeds Beckett. So not only do Beckett get the points, they now get possession as well.
So let's just take a look at this again. It's an incredibly high snap over the head of Loughborough Blackburn, and he's chasing after it into the end zone, and he just can't gather it and ends up kicking it out himself.
He knows he's got nothing else to do. At the point where it's near the back of the end zone, he knows those 2 points conceded. The worst thing you can do is leave it and let Leeds Beckett jive on it for 6 points. So he's done the right thing there. He's ushered the ball out the back of the end zone, said, I will have to take the 2 point loss here. It's over, it's happened, but let's not take the 6.
What would you do as a team captain on the University of Nottingham side right now to try and lift morale? Because right now, the feeling that they've got at the moment will probably be the lowest they've been in the game, well, probably in this season.
Yes, quite possibly. I'd be going over there and saying, this happens. This is not professional sport. These kind of things happen. We just now have to take these plays one play at a time. We've already shown twice we can get down the field. They are only 2 points behind. The field goal would give them 3. A field goal would make it 9-8 for them. They've shown that they can go down the field and score field goals. So I'd just be going there saying, we are good. We are fine. We have time. We have the wind at our back in the fourth quarter. Let's just go out and play football.
Sounds like something out of Coach Carter. Let's just go out there and play football. That is exactly the way they should approach the rest of this second half. Loughborough Blackburn is ready to kick us off and get this game restarted. It's a nice deep kick. It's going off towards that far side.
They recovered it!
What a cover!
Jason Scott, take a bow. That was a called kickoff. Loughborough Blackburn knew where he wanted that. There was a hole in the Leeds Beckett return team, and he has aimed straight for that. Look at the face on that man. He is happy and he knows what he's just done.
We never spoke about the wind being a good thing, but they've done exactly that. They have used the wind to their advantage to allow that ball to hang up into the air and make it a really aggressive kickoff, and they've got the possession to go with it as well. That is how you respond to conceding those 2 points.
Exactly. That is a head coach going out and saying, I trust my players. Whatever's just happened, I trust them. And he's gone out and said, let's kick it there. Even if we lose 10 yards on the return, we've got that chance of getting possession back. And suddenly, Burkhill and Lala look very threatening. The offense will be fired up now.
Well, here we go, 1st and 10. Burkhill hands it off to Lala, who's looking for a gap in the middle. And he's got it. Lala with a lovely bit of gain there for the University of Nottingham.
Look at it, all smiles. Everyone's happy now for the University of Nottingham, that even though they are behind, it feels like they have the momentum.
Let's take a look at this kickoff again. Wow. Jason's got to be watching replays of this for weeks to come. Just look at that. It was perfect from the University of Nottingham. Brilliant work, it must be said, by Alexander Gray, the player out on that far side who made the collection.
Agreed. He's run down there at speed, not knowing what's going to happen, but he's managed to dive on that ball. Incredible play.
Looks like it's a 2nd and 4 here for the University of Nottingham. Burkhill waiting for the snap. Here we go. Hands it off once again to Lala, but instead there's nowhere for him to go except into 2 Beckett defenders, and one of them again is Schmidt. And I know it's a little bit early because we're not even at the end of the third quarter, Simon, but we've got to start talking about Schmidt as being one of Beckett's MVPs.
Yeah, definitely. Beckett are sending 6 here every time. If I was Alec Glenn, I'd be turning around and saying, we will protect with 6 and throw a little pass over the middle. They are vacating the middle of the field every time. It's just whether Burkhill can get a pass out to someone like Old, someone like Pedro, maybe Mayall across the middle, and they will have space to work.
Little word to your lineman as well to try and give you a bit more time on the ball. But here we go, 3rd down. Burkill with the ball in hand. He's looking for a throw deep downfield and is pinged off the intended target.
Couldn't quite reel that in, but it's exactly what we said. Hold 6 there on the line. Leeds Beckett brought an edge blitz off from the top of your screen. They managed to hold it. Burkill had time rolling out, but couldn't quite connect with the receiver.
Dan Pedro once again the intended target. It was hung low, it was hung with ferocity as well, because it's got to cut through this wind. That's what it's got to do, it's got to cut through it. It can't float amongst it. But even then, he just couldn't quite grab it.
4th down and the offense are still out on the field. Coach Scott trying to take advantage of this momentum right now.
Well, as you can see there in the bottom right-hand corner, the clock indicating there's not a lot of time left in this 3rd quarter. Now is the time to roll the dice as well if you're trailing by 2 points. So here we go. 4th and 6 for the University of Nottingham. Lala has to make up the yards, and he can't! He's brought down by the Leeds Beckett defence and by Daniel Francis, who runs off celebrating to his touchline. Simon, what has happened there?
Nothing Lala could do on that play. We can see it here. They're just trying to throw that quick swing screen out to Lala, but it looks like number 19, Dan Pedro, couldn't secure his block up on the front of the line, and that has allowed Francis to come straight through, and he's got through to tackle Lala in the backfield.
That play looked like it was easier to read than a children's book for the Beckett defenders, it must be said.
It is quite a common University of Nottingham play. They've run it a fair few times this season. They like it as that extension of the running game, what we talked about earlier. But that time, the running game didn't quite work for them.
So what you're telling me is university students did their homework?
Oh, wow. Can you imagine?
Incredible, Simon. Well, here we go then. Leeds Beckett, 1st and 10. Dawson Downing in the pocket, under some pressure, looking for space, trying to escape out of it. He's under a lot of pressure, fumbled forward, surely is this going to be recovered?
Let's see what they call it. Are they going to call it a fumble, or are they going to call it an incomplete pass? There was a receiver in the area. Downing's trying to call it a pass, and it is ruled incomplete.
McGeechee thought he was away there. I was convinced that it was a fumble forward as well. But just explain for everyone at home why that would have been perceived as an incompletion rather than a fumble.
So because there was a receiver in the area, and we will see it, we can see the pressure here. That looks like Barhin wrapping up and then Webster coming in. He tries to push pass it forward to number 88 there, and that's why it will be considered as a forward pass as opposed to a fumble. There is a very grey line between the two of them.
It's that motion of the arm going forward, trying to force the ball forward. That's the key thing the officials are looking for, isn't it?
Normally a fumble, the ball has had to be dislodged before the arm starts to come forward, otherwise it's always considered an incomplete pass.
Well, Dawson Downing has to recompose himself and go again. 2nd and 10 now for Leeds Beckett University. Downing takes the snap and he's going to run it himself. And that's a big collision right in front of the Beckett touchline. Wow, there are no words really to say about that, Simon, because Alexander Gray put in a phenomenal hit.
Yeah, Gray, big hit, but the problem there was Niall Simpson. He went the wrong way, or at least the wrong way for where Downing was expected. And if your quarterback turns left and you're not there, you've gone the wrong way, even if the quarterback's turned that way. So suddenly Downing's having to scramble out for his life of taking the ball, and Niall Simpson was stood at the back of that play, turning around going, what's going on?
I think you could ask every quarterback in the country. It's never the quarterback's fault, isn't it, Simon?
It's never the quarterback's fault.
No, never the quarterback's fault. Well, here we go now. This is a 3rd and 10 for Leeds Beckett University.
Big pressure here from Nottingham, 5 up on the line.
Downing sat ready to take this ball for Beckett. And he takes the snap well, throws it just over the top. Great take! Fantastic throw! Brilliant reception, and Octavius Carter has given his side the 1st down.
It's Carter again. Downing to Carter has been the main thing in the passing game here for Leeds Beckett, and he's shown again, it looked like just a simple hitch route. Get up to the sticks, get past them, turn around, and Downing delivers the ball to him. This may be the end of the quarter with the way the teams are stood around.
Well, I can certainly yes, the referee is signalling for that being the end of the quarter, so teams changing the ends. So teams have a little bit of a break now to recompose their thoughts, regather their ideas and get ready to strike once again as we are about to enter the final quarter, the final 12 minutes in this game. And as it stands, it would be advantage Leeds Beckett in the hunt for the #1 seed.
Well, we talked about it. Leeds Beckett may take the win, but they would not take the tie-break in this scenario. Leeds Beckett still need to score another 9 points to take the tie-break clearly. If they scored another 8 and made it 10 points, I'm not even trying to figure out that tie-break. It goes a long way down.
We didn't study maths at uni for a reason, Simon. We're not going to get bogged down with the numbers.
The tie-break scenarios in American football become complicated quickly.
Well, here we go now, 1st and 10 for Leeds Beckett. That's a very high snap. That is not what they wanted to start off with. They're going to have to recover it, but they can't. Significant pressure coming in from Nottingham, and Dawson Downing has to dive on the ball and kill the play. It's going to be 2nd and probably 38.
I have no idea what happened there. It looked like whoever went to try and recover the ball flipped it back up in the air. Let's watch this. We've got the high snap over the head. That was Henry Rowland in at quarterback. That was not Dawson Downing under centre. Rowland was at quarterback. He flips it up in the air, and Downing has managed to recover it. We talked about this in the pre-game. What's happened here? Henry Rowland is stepping in at quarterback.
Well, thank goodness he did manage to collect it down, because there were 6 University of Nottingham players around him who would have been chomping at the bit to claim that ball.
We've got 2nd and 38 on the graphic. I have no idea. This is a long way.
I nailed that, absolutely nailed that. Here comes Downing with the run, though. He's unfortunately not nailed that at all, and it'll be 3rd and probably 43 now for Leeds Beckett University. They have got not a mountain to climb, they've got Everest to climb to get back into a competitive position.
And Leeds Beckett just lost 5 yards. I think if they lost another 5 yards, they're in their own end zone for a safety. The 2 points would be going back to Nottingham. Could you imagine that? 2 safeties in the game is almost unheard of.
This game's flipped on its head almost, hasn't it?
I talked about it in the first half. Momentum is unbelievable in this sport. So many times something that hasn't happened, the game is relatively quiet, and one big play will flip it, and suddenly an explosion happens. And we've seen it here. This is not a high-scoring affair. If you like Super Bowl 53, this is the game for you.
Well, here we go now, 3rd and 43. Crikey, for Leeds Beckett University.
Downing back in the shotgun.
Dawson Downing ready to go. Takes the snap, weighs up his options. Lovely throw downfield. Good gain there for Leeds Beckett. Obviously nowhere near the first down they would have ideally wanted, but it's still a nice game for Octavius Carter to claim for his own stats.
I think Beckett there are just saying, let's get a few yards, let's make this punt easier. We are now punting into the wind, and we've seen their punter have issues already today. A few punts where gone less than 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. If you're only 55 yards away from your end zone, that's only 15 yards now for the University of Nottingham to go. 4th and long is the only way to say it. This is a long way for Beckett to punt. Let's see what the punter can do.
We've given up with the numbers. It's a long way to go. As I said, it is an Everest of a mountain to climb right now for Leeds Beckett. Not impossible, though, because we've seen already in this match, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Let's see what the punt does here.
And the ball is snapped. It's a much better snap on that occasion. Low-driven punt as well downfield. So they're going to spot it at around the 30-yard line inside of Nottingham territory.
Lala did not want to return that, and I don't blame him. The University of Nottingham, knowing what the punter has been like, sent about 8 men in the pressure there, thinking if we can get a block, we either get a safety or we get a turnover with 6 points eyed up with about 5 yards to go.
Well, now Nottingham deciding is the time to have a chin wag on the sidelines. I think is the only way that you can really describe it. They're all bundled together, all trying to work out how on earth they're going to get all the way back down to a scoring position again.
Well, don't forget, we've seen Shlehetgo Blackburn kick 2 field goals into the end zone down that side. If we get to within about 20 yard lines here, if we see them get down that far, I reckon we could see a field goal kick out and go for 9-8.
And that's Bauer standing off from Birkhill at the moment as well. So let's see if the running back is brought into the fold straight away. Oh no, it's a fumble from Birkhill!
Birkhill manages to get on that, hit him in the shoulder, he didn't know where it was going. I wonder whether the wind's affecting these snaps now, because the wind just picked up.
That was too close for comfort from a University of Nottingham perspective, and you can see Birkhill gingerly strolling off to the sideline to have a quick word. And whilst he does that, we're going to try and hold on to our little commentary gazebo, because we're going to take off in a second if we're not careful. Are you going to put down the bad snaps at the moment to the wind, would you say?
I think if we were being generous, we put the bad snaps down to the wind. There's maybe been a couple too many for it just to be the wind. I think Sam Potter there, number 65 playing centre, he needs to get his eye back in.
Well, that's a better snap for the University of Nottingham. Handed off straight away to Bauer. Gets some good yardage for the University of Nottingham. It's not a first down, but it will be a third. It will be a third down and probably about 6 or 5 maybe. It's quite close to call these yards.
Yeah, it's difficult to see the yardage markers here from the commentary booth.
How does that play when you're on the pitch as a player as well? Because surely sometimes you can't make out some of the faint markings.
You just dive for whatever you can.
Just go for it.
Just go for it.
Just go for it. Well, there you go. Confirmation on the screen. It's a 3rd and 6 now for the University of Nottingham. 13. 3rd and 13, so they've lost yards. And here we go. Burkill has to try and evade. Oh, pressure in the pocket, but the throw was excellent. And unfortunately, the slip came in from Finley Old. That kid just can't catch a break.
Finley Old lost his footing. What have we got here? We've got officials calling for their own time. Yeah, Finley Old, I think, just having a chat there saying he's lost his footing as he's gone down, but it hit him straight in the hands.
And we've got a player taking the knee here as well for Leeds Beckett.
Yeah, I think we've got a Nottingham player down just from what we can see out of the commentary booth, and I think the medical team are out attending to him.
Well, we hope it's nothing too serious, and obviously taking the knee whilst the player is down, seriously injured, is a sign of respect from either side. That gives me a good lead into talking about the camaraderie in BUCS American football, and indeed a lot of BUCS sports up and down the country, because whilst you try and bash 7 bells out of each other for a good couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon, you're all still friends at the end of it, aren't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Everybody's still friends come the end of it. You'll see at the end of the game, most people, there's a lot of people who know each other from playing from adult teams as well as playing for university teams. They'll go and have a chat after the game, see how it was, have a bit of a catch-up.
And do you know what they'll probably have a catch-up over?
I wonder, what could that be?
Do you know what? It's going to be a glass of milk. Glasses of milk for everyone all around afterwards, I think. And you should be milking every moment. And that's what we're going to introduce. Milk Every Moment, a new campaign to help students understand the benefit of milk on their sporting performance. An affordable, natural, versatile and widely available choice after exercise. Milk provides a whole host of nutrients, vitamins and minerals to help fuel your workouts. A great option if you are on a budget and competing in university sports. To find out more, visit milkeverymoment.com today. And Simon, will you please assure me that you will after this match?
Me and you, let's go to the clubhouse and get a glass of milk.
Oh, but what milk are you going to go for? Are you a red, blue or green milk sort of guy?
Oh, it's only green milk, surely.
Only green milk. Well, do you know what? It's interesting you should say that. My parents often have told me time and time again, it should only be red milk. It should only be red milk when you get to that age. So they always have red milk in their tea. But blue milk on special occasions sometimes. Blue milk to treat yourself, you know?
That is an interesting one. Green milk all the way.
Green milk all the way.
I can't get behind that. Green milk all the way.
You're a semi-skim kind of buy. And that's another really good sight to see. Not only the fact that Simon's going to have a glass of milk with me afterwards, but the fact that a Nottingham player who was down injured, and we were worried for them, is walking off unaided, and they are safe. That's Daniel Pedro as well. That's a huge loss for Nottingham if he can't continue in this game, but fingers crossed he can, and it's nothing too serious. And of course, we obviously send him our best wishes. But for now, our attention turns back to a 3rd and 13 for the University of Nottingham. Lots of motion at the line of scrimmage there, and a long snap. Schlehetko punting downfield, and it's collected and it's being run back now by Leeds Beckett. Chris Taylor.
There's a big return there by Taylor. Schlehetko Blackburn with a good punt. With how the punts have been today, people seemingly didn't run down the field with the same intensity in the first quarter. They didn't get down to cover it in time, and Taylor's managed to gain himself 15-20 yards. Now on an 80-yard field, that could be crucial. You've already gained about 25% of the distance you need.
Well, there you go. Nottingham won't be happy with the fact that they were able to concede that sort of return from Beckett. And what would you do right now? Put yourself in as a Beckett quarterback. What play are you going for here, Simon?
Well, I'm sure all the Beckett players know the score. They know that they need to get 9 points realistically here. That's 2 scores in American football. I think with 9 minutes, 35 seconds left, you're looking at scoring relatively quickly, knowing that Nottingham will start to run the ball down if they think it's getting close.
Well, there is the snap back to Downing, weighing up his options downfield, takes the throw,
and it's off!
It's bounced off the intended recipient. Nottingham charging this back now. Mickey Fisher just out.
Mickey Fisher, maybe the oldest man on this field. He is about 31, has come back for a second degree, and he has picked that ball off the tip and turned it over. What a dagger for Beckett. They could not do it. It bounced off the receiver's hands, and now Nottingham are going to take over with great field position.
Fantastic initiative from Mickey Fisher there to provide Nottingham, well, by completely flipping the momentum. That's exactly what that action is done, Simon, and that's why moments like this are so crucial.
Yeah, some people say that American football only comes down to 4 or 5 plays a game, and if that's true, this is one of them. Dawson has so much time, threads it through 2 linebackers, but he just can't catch it. And Mickey Fisher has a great return, trying to get round the outside, and manages to get all the way out before Downing gives him a good old shove to make sure he's out.
Intended recipient Fred Nash will not be happy with that by any stretch of the imagination.
No, that's the second time. We had the one earlier go through the hands of Nash on the deep pass, and then that one bobbled off the hands. The worst bit is when it bobbles up high and the safety can get the tip drill.
Burkill hands off on the first down play.
Great play by Etienne Simmons there, and he is fired up. He managed to get a hand to Lala's feet, and Lala just tripped over, could not keep the run going. What a play by the nose tackle.
This guy doesn't know what giving stuff only 90% is. He's at 120% every single play. Look at the fight in him to get through.
Look at that straight past Sam Potter on the line with the swim move straight over. That is what you love to see from your nose tackle. Big penetration into the backfield.
Well, here we go, 2nd and 9 for the University of Nottingham. They were able to get 1 yard from that play. They'll be looking for 9 more from this one. There's the fake tip-off. Oh, great hands, though, on the reception of the dump-off.
Finley Old has not caught a ball yet today, and that makes up for it. Burkill put it behind him. He manages to get one big mitt onto it and reel it in. It's not a big gain, but it does keep the chains moving for the University of Nottingham.
They faked the running play. They've tried that before, and they've got a big reward from it in the past. And on this occasion, a little pass has paid off as well.
Yeah, it looks like Finley Old's going to come a little slip route. He's going to fake a block in the end defender, and look at that for a catch. Finley Old, take a bow, son.
Completely unmarked, really. If that had just been in front of him rather than behind him, you could quite easily say he was going to make a lot of yards.
Fractions in American football make all the difference, and that's one of them. Put it in front of him, it's 10 yards. Put it behind him, is 1 yard.
Well, here come Nottingham once more. 3rd and 8 now for Burkill to deal with. The snap's good. He's looking for a throw downfield. Interception from Leeds Beckett, running it straight back into Nottingham.
That is unbelievable.
Ben Mitchell.
Lala went out on the sweep, then they threw it on the short play, and Ben Mitchell undercuts it and takes it down. That is an enormous turnover here. Beckett get the ball back. 5 minutes left in this game. What can Beckett do now on offense?
You talk about these moments are the moments where games are won, and the Brit Bowl 2023 champion will know that is likely to be one of them, Simon.
Yeah, definitely, and Beckett are celebrating on the sideline as they should be. That is a big play. University of Nottingham seem to have the momentum, and it has flipped now. Look at that defence. They were not ready to come back out on the field, and suddenly you've got to come back out there and stop this Beckett offense, which just seems to be getting better and better.
Simon, do you run on every play now, because that keeps the clock ticking? And from a Beckett perspective, if the clock keeps running, that's good for them.
It's good for them, but they've got to score 9 points to take the tiebreaker, and I know they'll be thinking about that. It's definitely up in their mind. I reckon we could see Downing start to go to the pass game, or Beckett even start getting the trick plays out.
Well, 1st and 10 for Beckett. There is a snap, no trickery there so far. Downing with the ball, but he's going to run straight through the middle. He thinks he sees a bit of a gap. Eventually wrestled to the floor after a gain of about 4 yards.
We've got a flag out on the field. Let's wait and see what this is.
What are your initial thoughts, Simon? Did you see anything untoward there?
I'm not entirely sure with where he's thrown it. Let's wait and listen.
Personal foul, grabbing the face cage, defence number 4. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. It's an automatic first down.
Wow. We spoke in the build-up, we spoke during half-time, we spoke pretty much during the 3rd quarter in this game. Penalties, giving away silly mistakes, are crucial and will just invite the other side back into this game, and that is a mistake you should not be making.
Yeah, grabbing the face cage is illegal in American football, and Bosworth, number 4, the linebacker, must have done it there. Even if you just catch it, 15 yards, and an automatic first down for Beckett.
Well, 1st and 10 now for Leeds Beckett University, still holding that narrow 2-point lead, 8 points to 6. Downing takes the snap, looks downfield. Great take there. Octavius Carter, he had his knee down, so he can't keep going. but it's yards gained for Becket.
It is yards gained for Becket, and like we talked about, the pass game starting to hot up. Octavius Carter and Dawson Downing, I think, are going to have to carry this team through the air, maybe with a bit of Henry Rowland as well, if they want to start going down the field and scoring points quickly.
Gain of about 5 yards there for Leeds Beckett University. So it'll be a 2nd and 6 now.
Henry Rowland in the backfield there.
This could go to any 3 of them, really. Dawson Downing standing in the middle, looking like he is the one that's going to take the ball. But you never can tell with the way that Beckett have been playing in this fixture so far. Here we go. 2nd and 6, Downing, flag in the air on the far side, looks downfield. Great take! No, it's fumbled out of the hands of Octavius Carter.
Downing got them with the hard count. I think it's going to be called offsides on the University of Nottingham.
It's a 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
It was indeed offside, a 5-yard penalty. It does not give them the 1st down, however, it will still be 2nd down, but 2nd and very short. If Leeds Beckett want to have a time to take a shot at the end zone, thinking they've got an easy 3rd down conversion, now is the time.
Well, it'll be second and 1 because it's remaining 2nd down. So surely they just want to convert this into a 1st down, and like you say, just pepper the end zone, get a touchdown on the scoreboard.
I'd be taking a shot towards the end zone here now with Downing to Carter. I presume he's at the bottom of the screen. I take a shot down there and then say on 3rd down, okay, let's try and convert this with a 1-yard run.
Don't take your eyes off Fred Nash as well. He's towards the bottom of your screen as well on that line of scrimmage. It is Downing though. He's going to take it himself. The running back turn quarterback. Is he going to get that yard?
It looks like he's going to pick that yard up. Let's wait and just double check where the chains are. But it looks like a 1st down is being signalled.
We're still looking for the signs of confirmation that it will be a 1st down for Leeds Beckett University. And the chains are being moved. Move those chains, as they like to say in the game.
Move those chains, indeed. Beckett are really moving here. They look to be about 20 yards outside of the end zone. But with only 4 minutes left and 1 timeout, what are they going to do?
Does a touchdown here with an extra point afterwards kill the game off? Is that the end of Nottingham's fairy tale story here, or could they still win it?
Nottingham could definitely still win it. If it's a touchdown here, it will be interesting to see what Beckett do afterwards. Let's talk about that more after this play.
1st and 10, Downing in the pocket ready to receive. He looks to hand it off, he keeps the ball though, and he is wrapped up. He's going nowhere thanks to the University of Nottingham's number 15, Alex Gray.
Alex Gray with a great play there. But as we were talking about, if Leeds Beckett score a touchdown here, they will go up by 8 points. Then, knowing what the tie-break situation is, they will probably elect to go for 2 to try and make it 10 points. At that point, I have no idea what happens with the tie-breaks. It is not one we are trying to figure out because it will depend on the rest of the games to be played. But then, Beckett know that they have to come back and try and get more points to make that magic 11-point margin they think they need for the number 1 seed in the North.
We're going to need to check your pulse in a second, Simon. I feel like your heart's beginning to race with the energy and the adrenaline that those players are experiencing out on the pitch as well. Downing sat ready to take the snap, and he's got 2 options just next to him as well. So interesting to see how Beckett will take this play. 2nd and 8 now. And the snap isn't a healthy one really for Downing to deal with. He's going to have to dump that one off through the middle because pressure was coming through from the University of Nottingham's Chris Baby.
Yeah, that was a great play by Downing. Live to fight another down. The game is not over. You do not know what's going to happen. But if you take the sack there, you're suddenly looking at 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16. They're in 3rd and 8. This is probably still 4-down territory, knowing everything going on. So suddenly, you'd rather than getting 8 yards of play, you want 4 yards of play.
Well, that looked like a very deep chat, really, between the Beckett offence, as they're looking for a way to convert into a 1st down, convert territory into a touchdown. They just want to have that lead, bigger.
They do. Watch Carter at the top of your screen. He's been Dawson Downing's go-to man. Let's see what he does here.
Let's see if the snap's any better on 3rd and 8 for Downing, and it is. He's got the ball nicely. He's looking deep downfield. He was looking for Octavius Carter, but it hasn't come off. It was just too far in front of the number 13 to get his mitts on. Well, we're getting closer and closer to that 2-minute warning. Our clock is the unofficial clock, so it's not linked to the one on the wrist of the main referee himself. So we will await still that 2-minute warning that should come in now in this fourth quarter. This is a big moment now because Becket are playing the fourth down, Simon.
They are. They know the situation with the tie breaks. They know the situation with seeding in the north. And fourth down, normally you would not leave your offense out on the field. But with what's going on in the league, they think they need the touchdown here. Let's see what Downing does. Carter's in the slot to the bottom of your screen.
Here we go. 4th and 8. Leeds Beckett, very high snap. Downing's dealt with it well. Looking downfield, evading the pressure, but he's starting to get swallowed up. Is he going to be brought down? And he is.
Was it a face mask from Barhin? It looked like he went high, but I can't see a flag. It's a turnover on downs, I believe. The University of Nottingham will take the ball over. We are approaching the 2-minute warning. We're just waiting to see when it will be. But the University of Nottingham take the ball over. Leeds Beckett only have one timeout left.
Elvis Webster with the sack. He will be the one credited with tackling Downing to the floor and ending the hopes and dreams of the Leeds Beckett team. Simon, what a game.
This has been a defensive game, but as you can tell by the tone of our voices, it has just got more and more exciting as the game has gone on. I'm just waiting to see when this 2-minute warning is going to be. So there's a possibility that we are only about 20 seconds away from the 2-minute warning.
A matter of moments, really, Simon. A matter of moments. But here comes the first play of Nottingham's latest drive, and that's Bauer taken around the neck and taken out into touch. Now, Simon, there'll be many watching that thinking that it's a high tackle, it's too aggressive and it's not safe, but that is allowed in American football.
It is allowed, so you're not allowed to go around for the face cage. You're also not allowed to take effectively the name plate, so where you would see on American football the name across the back of the jersey. Oh, let's just check if this is the 2-minute warning. No, timeout taken by Leeds Beckett.
It looks like Arthur Kingdom might be down, experiencing some, or he's experiencing some discomfort there towards the Leeds Beckett touchline.
So Beckett have taken their final charge timeout of the game. This would mean that if we get after the 2-minute warning, the University of Nottingham would be able to run out the game. I don't think they will. I think the University of Nottingham will try and go down and score because they'll want to win the game irrespective, but let's wait and see if our officials said anything.
Timeout Leeds, their third and final timeout of the game. 2 minutes and 3 seconds.
2 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock when that timeout went in. Well, in 3 seconds' time, we're going to have a short break anyway for the 2-minute warning.
So that confirms it. With no timeouts left in the game, the University of Nottingham, if they elected to, could run the game out with a first down conversion. We're expecting this play to take longer than 3 seconds, so we're expecting the 2-minute warning after this play.
Well, here we go. 2nd and 12 now. Nottingham, the ones in possession. Burkill takes the snap well. Hands off to Bauer, who's powering through and around the outside. He's ended up in the Becket bench. I'm sure he won't mind that, but he'd much rather have converted for a first down.
Definitely, and that will... Let's just confirm this is the 2-minute warning.
Warning, 1 minute 58 remaining. Leeds have 0 timeouts, Nottingham have 3.
Well, there you go, confirmation. 1 minute 58 left on the clock. Leeds with no timeouts, Nottingham with 3. How big is that for the final 2 minutes? The side that are trailing 2 happen to have all 3 timeouts remaining, and the side who are in the lead and did have the front foot have none.
Yeah, it gives University of Nottingham a lot of flexibility here. They are not, if they want to go down and win the game, they do not have to worry about getting out of bounds. They can work the middle of the field, and with how windy it is today, I think that's what you want to be doing.
Oh, a player just limping off there for Leeds Beckett. We hope that they're okay. That's Reece Worm, the number 32, second-year engineering student. Lots of experience as well with the South London Renegades, so a big loss potentially for the University Leeds Beckett.
Got 3rd down and 8 here for the University of Nottingham. Let's see what they elect to do.
This is a big one. They've got to convert it, surely. Here we go, 3rd and 8. Burkill hands off straight away to Bauer, but he is wrapped up by Schmidt, and he is sent backwards by the remaining Becket defenders. That is a big moment in the course of this game.
It is indeed, but what I think that says is that the University of Nottingham are going to play to win the tiebreak. They're not going to play to win this game by the looks of it. I think if you were desperately looking to win that game, you throw a pass there and see what you can do. But the clock is rolling now, and Becket have no way of stopping it. When Becket come back out on offense after this punt, assuming they receive the punt and all goes well, they'll be looking to work the sidelines, get out of bounds.
Well, here we go, 4th and 8 now. University of Nottingham getting ready to snap that ball. A lot of lateral movement by the University of Nottingham. Lots of players have changed positions. Slahetko Blackburn sends it deep downfield.
And there is a flag in the very defensive backfield. I wonder if Leeds Beckett have got 12 men on the field. It's the only thing I can think of for a flag to be thrown that's deep. Let's see what the officials say.
Or maybe they were just sick of them kicking balls to Newcastle. Let's find out.
Got a flag down on the far sideline as well.
Lots of conferring happening here with the officials. It's obviously something that they need to just double check.
The officials. So the officials seeming to have a conflab here with head coach Jason Scott. I'm not sure what he's decided here. Let's wait for the call because this is going to be an interest. The ball's moving.
Defence, that penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touch.
So offside on the defence. The University of Nottingham will decline that because they think it's a good enough punt that if they did it again from 5 yards further up, they wouldn't get the same result. So the University of Nottingham declined the penalty. Leeds Beckett are going to have to go the length of the field and quickly with no timeouts.
Imagine trying to explain that to a footballer or a rugby player. Yeah, we actually declined the penalty. What?
We declined the penalty, but we didn't get the ball back. We still let them have the ball, but we declined. It's a difficult sport.
It makes sense for us. It makes sense in American football, but probably not to your classic sports, which some might play.
It helps to have someone who understands the sport explaining it to you as you go along. Otherwise, you get very lost very quickly.
What would I do without you, Simon? Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this journey. And a big part of your journey isn't over yet because you've got to pick an MVP. So I'm going to plant that in your mind whilst we get to a 1st and 10 for Leeds Beckett University and Dawson Downing standing up for what are the last few moments of this game and the last few moments that we'll see him in action before the end of this game. Here we go, the snap's good, 1st and 10, Downing, deep downfield, he throws, but it's way short of his intended target, Chris Taylor.
Yeah, the wind took that. Downing tried to throw it, and you could just see the ball get hung up in the air. The wind is affecting everything today. Downing, he knows he needs the deep shots. I'm sure Coach Walker has stressed to them how quickly they have to get down the field. And not only that, they then need to get the ball back and then get some more points if they were really looking to try and secure on the tie breaks.
So we've just got confirmation that it's not 38 seconds left on the clock. We've got around 49, 50 seconds left on the clock. Simon, why aren't they just taking the knee and seeing out this game?
So, with how the number 1 seeding will work in the North, if you get the number 1 seeding, as we talked about at halftime, you get home field advantage all the way throughout the playoffs. Now the first game was a 30-20 win to the University of Nottingham. And much like in heads-to-head, you know, if we talk about FA Cups with the semi-final, you've got to win by more, you've got to score more. So Beckett need to score at least 11 more here than Nottingham. They're only up by 2. The most they can score in one possession is 8. They will only be up by 10, which would make it a tie-break we are not even going to try and calculate.
Do they do like an eating contest then after? How many hot dogs can you eat in a minute? Is that going to be how we separate them?
I'm sure the linemen would love to do that.
I'm sure they would. I'd love to give that a go as well. Probably not against the linemen though. Gosh, that wouldn't end well. 3rd and 10 now for Leeds Beckett University as they look to convert deep downfield because they want to keep their hopes of getting that 10-point margin alive. The snap is a healthy one to Downing, who looks out wide. Brilliant play and a great reception from Octavius Carter. Nice little bit of yards gain, and he's down out into touch, so the clock stops as well, and that is probably the most important factor.
That is the most important thing. The University of Nottingham need to start playing what's called funnel defence. Keep everything inside them to the middle of the field. Do not let them get to the sidelines. But look at the change. It is 4th and 1. This is going to be effectively 4th and game for the Becket.
Here we go then, Leeds Beckett, what have you got for us? What are you going to do? 4th and 1, the hopes of an entire university riding on this snap. It's a good one again for Downing, who throws over the top, and Carter's dropped it!
Mickey Fisher with the breakup, and that may seal the #1 seed in the north. Beckett will not get the ball back. University of Nottingham, if they choose to kneel down on it, will end this game.
What a finish to this fixture. Unbelievable stuff. You could not write this, Simon.
Look at how much it means to those players as well, celebrating on the sideline. Beckett looked dejected. I think they know what this could mean.
I will just reaffirm the point for everyone watching at home that just because there is that 10-point gap still to consider between Nottingham and Leeds Beckett, it does not confirm anything for Nottingham. It does not confirm anything for Leeds Beckett. We still have fixtures in this league to play out. However, it would be a massive advantage in favour of the University of Nottingham.
Oh, it definitely would be. The University of Nottingham have still got to play Loughborough. Leeds Beckett still have one more game after this. We are expecting them both to win those respective games, which is why we have talked about it like we have been. This could be a deep shot to the end zone here with Burkill.
Burkill, no, he hands that one off, and it looks like Lala's going to break through. Maybe he's going to the end zone.
We're expecting a timeout taken here by the University of Nottingham. Let's wait to see if it is signalled. It looks like it has been signalled. I wonder what they're going to do. We don't know the exact timing on the clock.
They're rubbing salt in the wound now at this stage, surely for Leeds Beckett, because that's a big gain all of a sudden by the University of Nottingham, and they could quite happily see out the game from here.
Nottingham, first charge time at the half, 19 seconds, 19 seconds.
19 seconds left.
19 seconds on the clock. They've got about 12 yards between them and the end zone. You can see from the change in the corner, they're so close to scoring.
They're also in field goal range for Loughborough Blackburn. They could take the win 9-8 if they opt to take the field goal.
What a game, Simon. What a game. I cannot wait to see more of these fixtures, especially if this game continues to grow here at university level. Here we go, 1st and 10, Burkill hands off. And unfortunately there are no holes on that occasion for Lala to exploit.
Yeah, looks like the officials stopping looks like a timeout has been taken. Yep, officials signalling the second charge timeout. And we've
Players
got
rolling in and out.
We've got...
Timeout, Nottingham, it's a second charge timeout and a half, 11 seconds remaining. 11?
Yeah, see, look, they've got a lot of players that are coming. Are they going for the kick now,
This is
Simon?
a field goal unit. It looks like Nottingham are going to attempt to win the game here with 11 seconds left.
Tom Morris is standing there to spot the ball down, and you can only assume...
That's
not
Teddy Hope.
Not Tom Morris, sorry. Teddy Hope is there ready to spot the ball down so that hopefully Schlehetko will send this over for the University of Nottingham.
From what looked like the University of Nottingham were out of this game, even being down 2 points, they looked out of it. They now have a chance to win it with this field goal. This is it for Nottingham.
Who knew the game could go this far and come down to these final details and moments? There goes the kick.
Wait for the signal.
There's the officials. That's it. The arms are in the air. The 3 points will go on the board. And the University of Nottingham will win 9-8 in the final seconds.
If it was 11 seconds, there's still going to be time on the clock. Leeds Beckett have no way of stopping it if they get the ball back. but Leeds Beckett, I think, with 11 seconds left and maybe a 5 or 6 second operation for the field goal, there may be 5 or 6 seconds left. The University of Nottingham will have to kick off to Becket. Will we see some sort of miracle from the Becket return team? Will we see a Hail Mary from Dawson Downing? I just don't know.
We don't know what we've got time for, Simon, but at the moment, as things stand, University of Nottingham could have triumphed in the final seconds of this game. 5 seconds remaining on the clock. 5 seconds left.
You talked about an MVP, and it's so difficult to call now. We have to wait and see for the full-time whistle. Normally we know who's going to win the game with a couple of minutes left, but right now we have to wait and see who we're going to call the MVP.
Couple of minutes, try a couple of seconds, Simon. You've got 5 seconds left of on-field action to decide an MVP in this game. And what a game we've been treated to. I want to see this happen every week.
I hope you stuck with it. It was a relatively pedestrian first quarter, but the intensity has amped up the entire way. Nottingham are looking to try and sort their kickoff unit out.
Give me some options for MVP at the moment. Who springs to mind initially when you start thinking about the most valuable player?
I think at the moment you've got to look at Schlehetko Blackburn for the University of Nottingham. 9 points, all 9 points off the boot, and he played well defensively well. If you want to look at Leeds Beckett, Dawson Downing has carried his team to 8 points, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but in the conditions today, carried to 8 points is definitely the way to phrase it. I think you can also look at maybe Carter as well for Leeds Beckett University.
A special mention maybe to Etienne Simmons, the number 79 on the Becket defence?
Yeah, definitely a possible special mention to him. He's played really well. It's difficult for a nose tackle to do like big flashy plays, but he has played well on the interior. I played nose tackle for many years. I know how hard a job that is, and what he's done today has been impressive.
And another unsung hero for me as well, potentially maybe for MVP, McGeechee has had a fantastic game for the University of Nottingham, coming up in the crucial moments.
He has indeed. We've got Dawson Downing here looking on the kickoff return unit. You can see him number 19 at the bottom of your screen.
Well, they really are going to try something special, and the wind is actually having none of it. They are going to need to have someone to keep the ball in its spot, in its place, as Schlehetko Blackburn goes to step up and get this game restarted. 5 seconds on the clock, so it means if Becket regather this, they have 5 seconds to run that back and get some scores. Here we go!
And it's gone to Newcastle, out the back of the end zone. Jason Scott has just looked over at the Becket sideline and said, go win on offence. You are not going to win on special teams. Your offence has only scored 8 points today, and he wants them to go out with one play. Now for Becket, you've got to go into your playbook and pick your best play. You've got to go out, because this is too far to throw a Hail Mary into this win. You're going to have to throw it short and run into the end zone. So I wonder what Becket are looking at here, but this is going to be the one play they practice more than anything else.
Well, keep your eyes on the Becket number 16 coming onto the pitch. Daniel Francis, he's played really well for them so far in attack, and he's been a reliable option, and also none more so than Octavius Carter, the number 13. He's had a superb game for Becket. Are they going to target him, potentially the master student?
Yeah, I wonder whether they're going to throw it to him, try and get some of the offensive line out in front of him as bodies on the little screen pass.
Here we go, 1st and 10, Leeds Beckett University. Dawson Downing standing there, ready to receive and maybe take his side to a miracle. What is about to unfold? Downing takes it, throws it across to Carter, who then dumps it off once again to Downing. Complete lateral to no one.
And it's out, and that is it. The University of Nottingham win the game.
Unbelievable scenes here at West Park Rugby Club. The University of Nottingham have defeated Leeds Beckett 9 points to 8. It was the final seconds that proved crucial, and now it really is advantage Nottingham in the number 1 seed chase. Simon, give me an MVP.
I've got to give it to one of the University of Nottingham players, and we said his name a lot today because he's kicked 3 field goals. Schlehetko Blackburn has got to be my MVP today. 9 points to win the game, all off his boot.
Well, congratulations then to Danilo Schlehetko Blackburn. I just can't believe what we've watched. I really can't. But congratulations to him and the entire University of Nottingham team. They have won 9 points to 8 here at West Park Rugby Club in Leeds. Wow, Simon, just give me your initial thoughts after watching that game. How are you feeling right now?
My heart rate is through the roof. I cannot believe it. We have not seen a game that exciting in a long time. You have to say, Leeds Beckett played one hell of a game. It was such an impressive game. Etienne Simmons, whether it was Downing, Carter, so much going on, but Beckett couldn't quite make it in the end.
Let's just quickly talk about that man on the screen right now, Jason Scott. How instrumental would he have been to pull his side back into a victory?
Definitely the morale boost he could have given them on the sideline when they were down 8-6. And also, I am almost certain that that short little kick into the wind that was recovered after the safety was his calling, and he's gone out and said, it doesn't matter, we're down 2 points, let's be aggressive and go after the ball.
Well, it's not completely the end of the world for Leeds Beckett University. They are still in a chance of winning this entire competition. That is such the beauty of BUCS.
Yeah, very much so. So the way the playoffs work is that number 1 in the north will host number 4 in the south, and 2 in the north hosts 3 in the south, and vice versa. So we're expecting Leeds Beckett probably to be hosting somebody here in a couple of weeks' time. But then you play the quarter-final, the semi-final, and then on BUCS Big Wednesday, the final in Loughborough.
All roads lead to Loughborough and BUCS Big Wednesday. And at the moment, it is the University of Nottingham out of these two that will have a spring in their step, potentially propelling them down to Loughborough. Simon, last final thoughts from you as well. If you were Beckett, how do you pull yourself out of a loss like this? Because that will have a big effect mentally.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Losing by a point on a last-second field goal, knowing what you just put yourself through. That was a physical game. They're going to have to go back, watch the tape, see what they can do better, because there is a possibility that these two teams will play again further down the road in the playoffs, and it's all going to be a case of can they best them if it comes round to a third time.
Well, Simon, thank you so much for joining me here in commentary today and for just taking the time to join us today. Have you enjoyed yourself?
It's been great watching a game like that. There are very few games in the UK where you get to enjoy with that level of intensity, and this has been one of them today.
Oh, you've enjoyed it? I couldn't tell.
Oh,
no,
definitely
genuinely
not.
couldn't tell. No. But before you disappear, let's take a look at the quick highlights from this match. Let's take a look at the best moments from this game between the University of Nottingham and Leeds Beckett. Just give us a couple of seconds so we can get those highlights ready for you. Simon, I made it your final thoughts, but actually your thoughts are far from over because we need your thoughts on the highlights of these games. What's the biggest moment for you? What do you think was the biggest turning point?
It's difficult to say. There were so many turning points. Whether it was any of the interceptions, Mickey Fisher taking it back, whether it was the Leeds Beckett, the kick that got recovered, 2 kickoffs that got recovered by the University of Nottingham. I think the University of Nottingham special teams have played a blinder today. They have turned the ball over multiple times, even though it doesn't feel like it. They kicked it away and they suddenly walked out with possession. That is a huge turnover, and I think the special teams today have made the difference.
Let's take a look at these moments from the game today. It was nice and bright and, well, not sunny, but cloudy when we started off, and now it's pitch black. This is a great moment from Downing, just really showed his quality to be able to put Schmidt in for the touchdown, and you could almost say that was Beckett getting off on the right foot, but they didn't sustain it.
It was, definitely. Schmidt had one hell of a game as well, offense and defense. You've got to say, a man playing both ways, he should be tired. But look at Lala as well. We've mentioned him in MVP conversation. The ball came out here, though, but it wasn't quite recovered. He was still juggling it, according to the official, as he slid out of bounds.
That's a difficult one, though, because he was so certain, Daniel Francis, that he had collected the ball. And to be honest, in my opinion, I almost think he did recover that ball.
Yeah, it was definitely a difficult one. Is this the safety? It is. This is what gave Leeds Beckett the 8-6 advantage at the time. Shlehetko Blackburn just having to usher that ball out of bounds.
Danilo Shlehetko Blackburn will not want to watch that back anytime soon. That one will not be going on the highlights reel, but still an MVP performance from him, wasn't it? Because look at this.
And then immediately following this, look at that. The little chip kick, he's not kicked that as hard as he can. And Alex Gray absolutely pounces on that. American footballs are like rugby balls, but worse. They bounce so much more unpredictably. And he's just managed to dive on that as it's hit the floor, as you hear the University of Nottingham celebrating in the background.
Well, let's just keep our attention on these highlights for the time being. They were celebrating in many parts of this game, not least to say this high snap, which turned into a massive gain of territory for Nottingham.
Yeah, this was a 1st and 10 that then turned to a 2nd and 38. Roland couldn't bring it in, but Downing manages to.
Well, this is another big moment for Becket because Downing was looking downfield, and just when he thought he got the reception, boom.
It's an incredible pass by Downing to fit it in just past the outstretched arm of Bosworth, but then it's just tipped off, and Mickey Fisher comes back with the ball.
And that was one of the key moments. And then Burkill with that little fake and tip off. As you say, if that had been in front of the intended receiver, Finley Old, he would have made 10 plus yards. But because it was just behind his shoulder, he only made 1 or 2.
Yeah, definitely. Just the slight differences in it. There's all the difference in American football. They always talk about it being a game of inches, and it definitely was here.
And here's that winning kick now that sends Nottingham into pandemonium and away with the victory as well. And the officials did take their time as well to announce it.
They definitely did. But look at it, Becket looked dejected. The University of Nottingham are celebrating. You can see Becket players on the floor. They knew what it meant at that point.
Well, as I said, pandemonium for the University of Nottingham. Heartbreak for Leeds Beckett. They looked in control for so much of that game, but it's the fine margins that matter at the very top of the game, at the very top of this sport. And it's no surprise that Nottingham will continue to celebrate long into the night. Simon, thank you so much for joining me. Will you come back again, please?
I will definitely come back if you'll have me.
I absolutely will. You've just got a pinky promise to me, that's all. Well, thank you very much, Simon. I'm going to let you get into those University of Nottingham celebrations, as I'm sure you're keen. But as we've been telling you all throughout today, all roads lead to Loughborough. And don't go anywhere if you want to see the reactions.
Welcome to BUCS Big Wednesday, powered by New Balance.
It's the final play, and look at the celebrations. Look at how much it means to Northumbria.
That is full time here, and Nottingham reigns supreme.
And he will take it in for the second Loughborough touchdown.
White will head for the corner, but he won't need to get there. The referee blows the full-time whistle.
Well, as I said, pandemonium for the University of Nottingham at the end there, and I managed to poach Jason Scott away from your team in the celebrations. Jason, it was a fantastic game to watch because it was so close right up until the death. You really took the game to them.
Yeah, I mean, I just said at the end, it's not a matter of clock management, it's clutch management, and big players make big plays in big games, and we talk all week about poise, performing under pressure, and that's what we did. We knew what we needed to do. We wanted to put pressure on Leeds Beckett in the fourth quarter and play against the wind, and we just set up perfectly for us, and our guys executed, and that's what I needed them to do.
Now, Simon was praising it as your choice on commentary, but that deep kick that you put in to reclaim territory, and Beckett really weren't expecting it. Are you the man to take credit for that, or is that
it's always a team effort, you know, and we say we want to have good practice on Tuesdays, good practice on Thursdays, and the score takes care of itself on Sundays, and it's some stuff that we practiced, absolutely, and Danlo was outstanding today, kicking 3 field goals, recovering 2 onside kicks. He was outstanding.
Well, Danilo is our MVP, so a quick word on him actually before he comes over himself. What is there to say about that magnificent boot?
Yeah, he's just outstanding. Like I say, his performance under pressure, and I don't think he's missed a field goal all season. I think the unsung hero really for me is Fraser Holden. People might point the finger at him, the stamp went over the head for the safety, but Fraser to snap in such difficult conditions and set the ball up, him and Teddy Hope, our holders, they were outstanding. And even when we're backed up down here with the wind, you know, Fraser put the ball on Danilo's boot, and that's what we needed to do.
Now, it's not always all sunshine and rainbows as well. You've still got more games to play for the rest of the season. What do you need to take forward in order to improve going into the future?
We just need to get fit, and then roll on Tuesdays. We'll watch tape and enjoy tonight. And then again, it's all about resetting, having a good practice Tuesday, have a good practice Thursday, and the score take care of itself on Sunday.
Well, Jason, thank you very much for your time and for coming to me after the match. You've got to switch.
All the best. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you very much, Jason. I'll take that off you, and we're just going to keep looking around to see if Danilo's going to join us. Danilo, take that microphone, sir. First of all, how does it feel to have claimed a win with that boot?
Great first game winner, so very happy.
First game, you'll never wash these boots again, will you? It'll be a superstitious thing. No, let's talk about the overall team performance before we get to you as an individual. I mean, what can you say about those guys that are out there with you in green and gold?
I think it was a tough week. It was short notice, but Spencer stepped in brilliantly. We've had injuries, but just came with the mindset of the team's more important than the individual. I think it showed.
Now, we were really trying to put on everyone watching at home that this wind is chaotic, and I mean, both our hair are struggling with it as a result. But for you as a kicker, it makes your job even more difficult. Please just give us an idea of what it was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the worst one was the punch coming this way, I think, for both. It was more on the first kick, barely made it over with the wind behind me. Would have been a bit embarrassing if I'd have missed it, but yeah.
Well, now, I will say as well, we've got a couple of your teammates just off camera here as well. I mean, you've got to say something nice about them, surely, because they're so close. You've got to share a coach with them, haven't you?
Yeah, unfortunately.
You're lost for words?
Yeah.
Lost for words, but it was a fantastic team performance.
Yeah.
And are you excited now for the prospect of post-season football?
Yeah, always. Well, I mean, first next week, Loughborough hopefully go undefeated for my first time here, so yeah, that's the focus.
Oh, mate, Dan, I'm going to let you get back to your celebrations. Thank you very much for joining us afterwards. I'll take that off you, tap that under my arm, and show that I can multitask indeed. Thank you very much for joining us up here in Leeds for this monumental clash between Leeds Beckett and the University of Nottingham. This was a great show of what BUCS ball can really be in the American football sphere in the UK. For now, it's goodbye, but in actual fact, we'll see you very soon.